Oh, come on. It's still not. All right, we are live. Oh, I'm talking. It's bad.
Welcome to Friday night, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, let's go. Shit. Second half coming up next. So, funny thing, we got to talking like we always do, and I have no beer. I have bourbon with no bourbon glasses. And remember how I had that 2-minute video teed up? Like, I'm gonna have to find another one.
Whoopsie.
What's up, Rev? How we doing, man?
What's good, man? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, man. This week has been exhausting. I'm so ready for tonight. I'm excited for our guest tonight.
Absolutely.
You know, no barbecue. Well, no, can't say no barbecue because we have one guy that's more like a foodie guy. We got here at quarter after from 9:15 to 9:45 because we have a thing called a schedule. Hey,
what? Get out of here.
Don't let me scare you. Don't let me scare you, Rev. I know structure isn't your thing, but you know we won't get too carried away with it. But no, we got Brewzle coming on here. TJ Brewzle. You got like 150K on YouTube, a couple 100,000 on TikTok, like 50-something thousand on Instagram. And like, oh, like that's cool. Like, there's flexing on his followers and all that. And yeah, it's probably true. That's probably true. I like to bring credibility to this show if this is your first time watching. But he is like the bourbon aficionado and personality of social media bourbon. The guy's always comparing, you know, like the Crown Peach versus Jim Beam Peach. And he does blind taste test of the $30 like bourbon Buffalo Trace versus the $100 Pappy, and can he tell the difference between the two? He puts a lot of bourbon myths at rest. He's just a really funny dude, man. Real good conversation. Bourbon aficionado, Rev. I think you're gonna love talking with him. And then at 9:45 ish, we're gonna have our good friend Unky from Unky Seasoning on. He was a full-time firefighter, so we're gonna talk firehouse cuisine, banter. Just anything fireman, full-time fireman, because I feel like that's something we've never really tapped into. We all know that fireman, but and they all seem fun. Anytime you see a social media fireman, Rev, pretty good people. Pretty good people.
We had one guest on who sort of touched on being a fireman.
Oh, yeah, Chad. We had Chad from Artillery. Yeah. And I think maybe that's what triggered it. Which reminds me, I owe Chad some recipes. He wanted me to send him some barbecue stuff for 6 guys that they can sit and forget. So
nice.
Yeah. So, all right, let's do a comment recap before we get to our sponsors for tonight's show. Hey, from This Grill Life. What's
good,
up,
Grill
everybody?
Life?
How we doing? We got Brad from Redbeard Seasoning. Yo, Brad from Redbeard.
What's good, Brad?
What's up? He may or may not be mentioned here in just a few seconds. We got Damon from Back Porch Barbecue, a homie of homies. What's up, guys? Happy Friday.
Good, Damon?
Happy Friday indeed. And then we have Chris. What's up, Chris? How are we living, man? So happy you're here with us. Let's get to tonight's sponsors that help make this show possible. And, look, speaking of which, come on now. That's his thing. If you ever watch him, when he get done, he's like takes this big, delicious bite of food, and he's like, you want some of this? Well, come on now. So we love Unky. He's coming on here in about 45 minutes or so. So we're excited to have him on. What's up, Unky? Thanks for watching. In the meantime, preparing yourself for the debauchery that is soon to ensue. But first, like I was getting done saying earlier, let's get to tonight's sponsors. You know, we got shots brought to you by Cleveland Whiskey. It's not a party without Cleveland Whiskey. If you're into the bourbon scene, if you're in Ohio, Northeast Ohio to be exact, go look for the Christmas bourbon. It's absolutely fantastic. I cracked my bottle this week. It's literally like cinnamon and cloves and nutmeg mixed with bourbon in a glass. Been drinking it underneath the Christmas tree at nighttime by myself. Been pretty nice, Rev. Been pretty nice. Love the Cleveland Whiskey. But if you're outside the area, you see Wheat Penny available. That's theirs. And the Cleveland Underground Oak Bourbon as well. That is also the cherry wood finished Cleveland Underground is also available. Branch barbecue sauce. They were on Channel Fox 8 this morning on Good Morning Cleveland to talk about their lineup. Congratulations to Branch. Chris, in true Branch fashion, was wearing a Savannah banana yellow tinted Tommy Bahama shirt this morning. So that was awesome. Congrats to them. We got Willow's Seasonings and Blends. We had 53 entries into the last minute thrown together College Bowl Pick'em. Thankful for everybody that participated, and Willow was really so thankful that he went from offering a complete lineup to the grand prize that he ended up doing a first, second, third, and last place. So if you suck and complete everything out and get dead last, he's going to say, it's okay, buddy. We're going to give you a participation trophy, which we're not always fond of, but in this scenario, we're all for it. FrictionFamilyFarms.com. I don't know if you follow them on social media, Rev, but have you been watching like Andy the Farmer's like daily antics on the farm lately?
Yeah.
They're awesome. Can we talk about how awesome they are?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like this Minnesotan farmer that's never dusted off a camera is this walking me through. It is the most accurate life of a farmer ever. Like throwing snowballs at mannequins dressed up as people and like calling steaks girthy and like, let's go for a ride, eh? Like on like the tractor, like it's awesome. And it just kind of shows, I love it. It's great marketing for them because it shows how small family they are. Like he showed Darian, his wife today, about a mess in the kitchen. A kid took 1 gallon of milk and mixed it on the countertop with 1 gallon of orange juice.
Nice.
They did that. So they're real. So if you want real life stuff, you got until Sunday to get a special package for clients, your family members. You got, like the real quick, I think like the date night package, it's like $120, but that's free shipping in most states, 2-day shipping. It comes with 2 bone-in 12-ounce ribeyes, like it's 12 to 14-ounce bone-in pork chops as well is included. Nice. And then also a couple other things are included there. It's like really good stuff. Their stuff is really top notch. So if you're looking for something really special and a good night, and you want to stay in, $120, pretty good date night. Ain't that right, Rev?
Can't go wrong with that, brother.
Yep, absolutely. And also Redbeard Seasonings, who's watching here. Brad, we love him. He's crushing awards. He's crushing the game. He's setting up at shows, selling out of stuff as soon as he orders it. He's having a hard time keeping in stock. You know why, Rev? Because the shit's good. That's why. Cajun Black just came out. Rev, we need to get you some stuff to try of his, man. That's going to happen here. The Cajun Black it's pretty cool. It's a very herbally blackened seasoning. So it's very herbal on the front and Cajun on the back, which is really nice. So it's not cheap. His stuff is not cheap. It's got a lot of texture to it. It's not very thin and just a bunch of like ingredients ratioed out to make a blend. It's very, very good, and it's award winning for a reason. All right, let's back to the show. Rev, like I said, I'm pretty excited. It's probably best I didn't start out the show drinking, but I know we got a couple minutes here before we'll take our first break here in about 5 minutes or so. But let's, dude, you got a forge, right? Someone got a forge in the house, and it's not me.
Sure do.
How are we coming along with the battle axe?
We got lots of progress done, man. It should be done probably the end of this weekend.
Did you bring your first knife dagger thing with you tonight?
Sure.
Dude, look at this. All right. Hang on, let me put it on the big screen. We have a Dude Network premiere, our very first weapon since we're going to create the Dude Network militia. So here's our first weapon of choice off the radar. Of course,
courtesy of the white trash forgery. That's what we're calling it.
And in an undisclosed location in the mountains of maybe Arizona.
Maybe not Arizona. Maybe
it might be lying to us.
So you know what a kukri is, right? The Nepalese knife used by the Gurkhas, some of the most badass fighters on the planet.
And if anybody was watching last night's Thoughts of the Rev, they would know that I know that it was Nepalese.
He knows stuff sometimes. He's not just a pretty
very
face
little, but I like the surprised look on your face last night when I actually nailed it because I really thought hard.
So
but yeah, I'm aware of the. I'm not aware of the. I am, but let's just say no. I'm not. Rev, explain that to me.
So there's some the Gurkhas from Nepal are some of the best hand-to-hand fighters you'll ever meet, and they have a very specific knife they use called the kukri. So I took a railroad spike and turned it into one of those.
Dude, that's bad. It's a good starting point. It's a good starting point. That is a fact. Yeah, dude. So you've been working with the forge.
Oh yeah.
I know no one's been watching the chicken videos, but I have been making chicken out of one pot of chicken all week long. Rev, I didn't do it today.
No,
I couldn't do
it all 5 days, bro.
4 days straight was technically 5, because when I made the pot of chicken on Sunday, I was nibbling. I was nibbling at the fresh chicken. You can't not nibble. And man, that pot pie looked so easy to make today. And I was like, I'm going. There's like a dive bar, and I was like hungry for dinner. I was like, I'm going over getting us some wings and burgers and fries. And I was like, I'm not doing it today.
Listen here, bro. And you know what? Our brother from Willow Springs season can back me up on this one. You can't talk about that to some of us. You know what? Ask Zach Lauer about this. When you've lived on MREs or military cuisine, air quotes, for like 9 months, 18 months, a year of your life, 4 days of chicken ain't that bad, bro.
No, it really wasn't. And what's funny is all the meals I made were actually delicious. For anybody, I did a recap. So I've been doing a thing. Like, I know there's people out there struggling. Money's really, really tight right now, especially the holiday season. You wanted to spend what money you did have to give instead of receive for Christmas, or you felt obligated. You felt you needed to give because you were going to receive the ultimate scam of Christmas. But anyway, so I've been trying to do like some cheaper cooks. So I found chicken on sale, chicken breast for like $1.89 a pound. So it was $10 for like 4 of the massive GMO certified alternated chicken breast. Nice. And it was like $10, and I probably had another $2 in making it. And then we did a croissant flatbread, like ranch pizza thing, which we bought 1 bag of mozzarella cheese, the 2-pound bag, which is only $8, like 7 and change. So that way you lowered your portions. Pick your favorite cheese, shredded cheese, and mine is mozzarella. So I went with that, and some sweet peppers on it, which are like $5 a bag for a bag of sweet peppers. The mini sweets, the little mini ones that have like the most sweet flavor of any pepper. Then we did the chicken stuffed croissants, and then I did the chicken noodle veggie soup, which lasted us for like 2 days. So technically we had that for like 2 days. Sure. But yeah, I'm over. I got a chicken pot pie to do, and I'm over it. Whatever chicken, it's going to be the most chicken thick pot pie of all time. I might not even get to the vegetables. I might just dump it all in there with some cream and chicken and call it a day. So we got about 2 minutes before our first guest comes on. We're going to take a quick break while I grab my supplies, because I for some reason got to talking and lost track of time. We're going to take a 2-minute break, Rev, and we'll be right back as we get to our first guest here tonight, TJ Gamble, a.k.a. the Brewmeister, Brewzle. TJ Brewzle is what I've decided to call him on this. So we'll be right back after this quick timeout. I hope I do this right. Please do this right.
I can talk for 2 minutes if you need to, bro.
Yeah, I can talk for 2 minutes.
I can wing this.
Yeah.
Sweet. We're getting another 3 cents in the bank.
All right. Man, probably done that. Zach Lauer.
My boy, what's up, dude?
What's good, brother?
Tony, put a hat on. I can't see shit.
Hey, he just waxed it. Don't hurt his feelings.
Welcome to the party. Welcome back.
Who invited this guy?
Welcome back to the party.
Hey, fellas.
Hey.
Here's what I'm going to tell you.
Happy Veterans Day, brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tony had to pry some fucking teeth to get me on here.
No, this is how I get Zach on. I talk to him throughout the week. I find out what his plans are.
Takes his advantage.
It's
and
the
then I'm
long
like,
con.
I knew he was off. He was off today. He said he was going to start drinking early, so I know he was day drinking, which means he wasn't glamping. So I was like, I need you on full tonight. He's like, what? I was like, you're not glamping. I know you're day drinking, and I know you're not doing shit. You got the green light. So I'm like, I need you at 9:30. He's like, fuck you.
And Tony, You know,
Proper response.
doing shit.
What's that?
You know, I was doing shit.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, actually. Oh, yeah, we need to read this conversation, actually. This is how it went down. This is how Tony books guests. I was like, hey, want to surprise Johnsy and come on the show tonight? Because I'm thinking of Johnsy. Johnsy been doing a killer job on this fucking program and all the programs here. So I wanted to bring on a friend of Johnsy that won't actually bury him every 5 seconds for a cheese. He deserves that. He goes, now. He goes, you know how I am. I said, I also know you've been drinking all day, and I also know you're not glamping. Thanks, buddy. Looking forward to it.
And that is how we schedule guests here on the Dude Network.
That is how we schedule guests. Indeed. So now it is 8:15. Before we get to our guest, a quick comment recap here real quick. Rev, shoot me address in DM. Okay. There you go, Rev. There we go. I knew that would happen. There we go. You're about to experience a new world, man, of flavor.
You know, when you put that return address on there, you might get a care package too, bro. You never know.
Hello, glitter bombs. Rev, shoot me your address. Oh, wait, no, that's a different one. True aficionados of culinary arts are the only ones that do homemade pot pies. That's true. That's a fact. And then I did Francaise pierogi today. All right. Who doesn't love a good pierogi? All right. So let's get down here to it. Our first guest of this, and I am excited as Cleveland Whiskey is one of our partners of this show who is very big in the scientific world of bourbon. This guy knows everything there is probably know about bourbon. He's going to say, no, that's not true. And I'm going to be like, want to go head to head with bourbon knowledge. And I guarantee you he wins. So with that alone, he is already, I know he's smarter than the both of us. Rev, I know you know a lot, but this guy lives in a human tasting room, one of the coolest spreads of all social media in the bourbon game. A man that has a collection of bourbon that most people would give their first unborn child for, because basically it's everything from top notch to whatever. He makes bourbon fun. He makes liquor fun. He calls out the overpriced bourbon and just says, sell me more than a bottle, bro. Sell me more than a bottle. I want something with some flavor. I want something with some sustenance. I want something that's bottled in bond. A guy that's bigger than life himself. A successful person in every level. I don't know much further where else to go other than he's the man, the myth. He's the man. Some would call him at his family reunion TJ Gamble, but here on the Dude Now, we're going to call him TJ Brewzle.
All right, I've been oversold already. Well, that was way too much.
Okay, can we just take a minute to see how amazing this setup is right here?
I appreciate it. We've outgrown the setup already, unfortunately.
He's got my favorite. It's like he knew.
What's your favorite? Oh, this right here is your favorite?
He's like, this little thing.
Yeah, well, this is a little Eagle Rare store pick right here.
Okay, the store pick. Okay, yeah. So I'm assuming like, Rick 5, row 1.
Oh, hell if I know. I don't know what this one doesn't give me that kind of info. It just says Alabama ABC, pick this one. So nice. I think they put online exactly the specifics around these bottles, but hell if I know.
I know I got the bottle I have actually of Eagle Rare. Someone in Nebraska got it for me at a High V store, and it has High V selected sticker on it too. So that's fascinating.
Yeah.
But yeah. So is Eagle Rare 10 your favorite?
No, it's pretty good. I've just, it's been a long day. I don't know what kind of maniacs are asking me to do podcasts at like 8:00 on a Friday, but I've been drinking since 3, so I figured I would just try some low proof stuff to, kind of ease into it. So
that's me. I was the asshole.
That's all right. I just had some meetings this afternoon, so I went and met some folks and had a few beers, and I was like, I was grabbing some high proof stuff, and I'm like, we need to find a good 90 proofer.
If it makes you feel any better, I've been drinking since 3:00. So it is the weekend kickoff part. It's Busch Light, so it doesn't really count. But
that's not alcohol. I thought you were drinking alcohol. You've been drinking water since 3:00. Okay.
Yeah, I've been hydrating for this. My pour here tonight is the Cleveland Whiskey Christmas Bourbon. It's delicious. It's got
sponsors already going on. What's up? That's nice.
I mean, dude, we got all kinds. Look at the ticker. We got a ticker on the bottom, bro.
I see that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, you thought you were coming on some rinky-dink operation, which you very well are, but we like to oversell our program as well.
We can
too.
fake it real good.
So by sponsor, they sent you a bottle, is what you're saying.
No, actually, no, it's a little bigger than that. Yeah, we love Cleveland. And you know what's funny is I love their stuff before we partnered up. So I didn't partner up with some bullshit. Like I partnered up with, they do, I don't know. Do you know Cleveland whiskey? Are you familiar with that?
No idea. Never tried it. Never heard of it until
I saw your ticker. Cleveland, Ohio. They do the technology where they put the bourbon in virgin oak barrels for about 6 months. And then they put them in like these vats. And then they have this underground series where they char a bunch of different kinds of woods like cherry, honey locust, sugar maple, stuff that can't make a keg. And then they rapid age it with like they did on the moonshiners with it, like the guy did with Climax Moonshine with turning into bourbon with the rapid aging of like rapid heat, rapid cold, and making like 1 year and 24 hours. Yeah, whatever that process is. And but they do different kinds of different stuff, and they do like a batch in like 6 months compared to 4 or 5 years, but it's still really, really smooth and good. And they don't have the waste of losing stuff in the barrel. They don't need warehouse facilities. What would happen down at Jim Beam? So it's pretty cool. Very nice.
I just wanted
to flex and show you something, sir.
Awesome. I don't know about rapid aging though. I'm a little skeptical, so we won't go too much into that. I'm not going to shit on your sponsor. I haven't tried their stuff.
No, it's actually I rapid age in the bootleg world. When they fire up the 20-gallon, we can make some good stuff in about 6 months with some oak spirals. I'm a big believer in the rapid aging.
I mean, if it's shine, fine. But with bourbon, I just haven't like everything we've tried, and we've tried a bunch of stuff. We're running a lot of experiments right now because I like to have fun with it. So we've got experiments with spirals. We've got small barrels going. We're doing all sorts of weird stuff. And none of it really improves. It changes it, sure. You might like the flavor better, but realistically, if you're grading it on the scale we grade it, where you're talking about complexity and evolution and all of those things, and nothing has made it better than just sitting in a 53-gallon barrel for a while.
See, that's the thing about like the nuclear aging processes or the rapid aging processes. You can make good things, but like if you make like a scotch and use nuclear aging, you're not going to out-scotch like Lafroig. It's not going to be the same. Right. It'll be good, but it's like comparing like apples to ribeye steaks. It's not the same.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And by the way, if you don't like a sponsor, feel free to shit all over them. We do not care. You're entitled. We do not censor on this program.
I've never had anything from Cleveland whiskey.
I tell you what, I've recently figured out that you can make things happen in the mail system. So off record, I'll try to get you some for this, so you can do an experiment with it if you're interested. If you got room for it in your
shoot me some. Happy to try it.
Yeah. They'd love to hear your feedback, and they're cool with if it's saying it sucked. The guy's with his method, he's been told he's been sucked along the way, believe it or not. So.
Hey, I every video I get 50% of the people tell me how bad I suck, so I understand.
By the way, you gave me my most viral comment ever, and I thank you for that.
What was the comment?
It was on the Devil's Backbone, like on the Devil's Cut.
Okay,
and I put on the comment like, it seems like an awful lot of work for an extra like $10 or something like that. And it got like 9,000 likes. I was like, maybe I just need to comment on more people's stuff. Like the first time I went viral on TikTok since Nam. So where are you based out of? Tennessee? Is that?
I'm in Alabama.
Alabama. Oh, I didn't mean to offend you, sir. Did not. Oh, go
you don't offend me. I'm pretty hard to offend.
Well, challenge accepted here on the Dude Network.
Yeah.
Oh no, see, so I'm an Auburn grad, and we don't really necessarily put all of our self-worth into a football team or the state necessarily.
Yeah. Now, I always liked Auburn because I'm a big Bo Jackson guy.
Yeah, he's a cool
Charles
dude.
Barkley, Frank Thomas. Let's go.
There you go. Named them all. Man, they all got statues. You've named all the statues.
Yeah, hey, this bourbon is not fried this brain. I can tell you that.
Not yet, anyway.
That recollection was brought to you by Cleveland Whiskey. It keeps the brain sharp. So talk about your rise, man, because I've been following you. I started like posting like October of like 2020, and I've gotten like you weren't too far after that, or you were just getting started there too. And I've been following you for about 2 years, man. And congratulations on all your success, first and foremost. I know your YouTube is absolutely monstrous. My guess is you've been doing that for a lot longer since prior 2020. But talk about your story, man. Why would I bring TJ Brewzle on this show? I mean, you're like the guy, man. Like a lot of people come to you for a lot of bourbon advice and comparison. And when they go shopping for a good bottle, man, I think a lot of people value your suggestions. How did you get to that point?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a tough question. I'll give you at least how I got here. I don't know why people listen to me. They're probably wrong for doing so.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, dude.
I own a small business, and we do a lot of content for that business. So I definitely have some background in content. We've been creating content for 5 or 6 years now, and we really started just like having a bourbon and having a live stream about work. And we'd have a guest on and we would talk about work. And every live stream, I wanted a different bourbon, and kind of pair it with the topic. And so, I ended up with a collection of 20 or 30 bourbons. And I was going, Alabama is a state-run state. They control all the alcohol distribution. And so they have monthly drops where they release their allocated stuff. And I was going to these monthly drops fairly regularly and just, tailgating and hanging out with the folks there. And a guy had a TikTok, a couple of folks there had TikTok accounts, and he had 3,000 or 4,000 followers. And he was talking about how much he liked TikTok and how many bourbon folks. Because I'm like, TikTok's just young people dancing. I don't want to, I'm not really into thirst traps too much, and nobody really wants to see me dance. So I'm not going to post there.
I mean, real quick, I do.
There are a few people, and my OnlyFans is only $10 a month. No,
can we get the high proof out, by the way?
So I just like, I'll start posting. Let's try some stuff. So I made a little bet with him. I was like, I'll get more followers than you in a month. So he had like 3,000 or 4,000. I'm like, I'm going to try to beat that next time we have a get together. And that had to be early. I think it was early 2020. And I started posting, and I was just posting like one video a week or so. And sure enough, in like 5 videos, I had more followers than that guy, which he didn't care. But I was like, well, this is something like this. It's much easier to get views on bourbon than it is the work stuff I was doing. So we had a YouTube channel, or still have a YouTube channel on that. I've got 6,000 subs on that in like 6 years. And so I was like, well, this bourbon stuff is kind of interesting. And then life kind of got in the way, and I posted off and on for 6 months, and then I took 6 months off while we were building this bar in the house, renovating the house. And then in June of this year, June of 2021, is when we really are like, okay, I'm going to start pulling a few resources from my work content, my editor and stuff over there, and see if we can't take it up a few notches. We started posting, at least 3 shorts a week on TikTok. And then that's really when we started the YouTube channel. We had it, but we had like 30 subs. We had posted a few TikToks, just reposted them. So in July 5th is when we really started focusing on YouTube. And so in 5 months, we did 100,000 subs on YouTube. And then this month, we're probably going to add another 50,000 subs. So in 6 months, we'll have 150,000 subs on YouTube.
Dude,
and then
awesome.
TikTok's at like 240 or so.
Are you pushing YouTube Shorts? Is that your thing?
YouTube Shorts. Now we're doing long forms. We're building the long form videos as well.
It's tough on long form.
We're getting there. So it's based on, if you look at the number of subs we have, the views on the long form don't make sense. But you got to understand, most of our subs are shorts. Mm-hmm. So we're probably we're getting half as many views as a lot of the bourbon YouTubers that have 20, 30,000 subs. So that I would put us at about 10,000 sub equivalent for long form videos. And that's fine. Like where we're at, like we've really only been trying on long form for about 2 months now. So I'll take that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that's killer. I mean, I've been doing the YouTube for a year, doing a show for a year straight, and recently the shorts have been really, and I've just recently figured out the shorts, but yeah, you need to, you get a few breaks in the world of social media, and you really need to capitalize, and hopefully you get a big conversion because I feel like if you're good at editing content, they reward you for creating an account pretty early on, and it's really important to capture those, get the conversion of likes to follows and early on, and get you some established stuff there for sure.
I would argue counter to that. I don't think. I mean, early maybe, but early doesn't matter. So, give you an example. I went to an acquaintance house in Indianapolis 2 weeks ago, and he gets 1,000, 2,000 views of TikTok, and that's pretty much it. You know, it's every TikTok 1,000, 2,000 views. I sat down at his house. We spent 2 minutes filming a TikTok in my style. 2 minutes filming a TikTok, he did 300,000 views on. Right, and he's been established for years. So it's about momentum. That if you really want to grow a channel, every video should speak to the same audience. Every video should be as good or better than the last one. And then you get momentum and you have these big momentum swings. So it's always up and down because you lose momentum. But it's like you could take an existing channel to the moon. You just got to find that momentum.
Yeah, and that's where it's at too. I guess I'm a little down on it at times because with it being, I'm jealous that I don't have one point of focus and go forward on it. Like you have bourbon, like you can go bourbon and take it to like level infinity of diversity of like breaking down bourbon, where it's like the dude network. It could be barbecue, it could be food, it could be hunting, it could be fishing, and it's really hard to create a consistent niche with being all over the wide and wonderful earth of the spectrum. So yeah, so that's great advice though, man. And that's why we always have creators come on here, because we want our audience to hear everybody's strategy that they're willing to share and their point of view. Because if it's one thing that's consistent in the year of doing this show, nobody's had the same strategy. No one has yet to have the same strategy, which means find what works for you and just fully send it. And just,
I mean, there's definitely something to that. There are certain things about every strategy that overlap. I'm getting some sort of weird audio feedback. Are y'all hearing that?
Yeah, I think we are working on that actually.
Yeah.
We are.
Sounds like somebody on a seesaw, like a very rickety old
Like
rusty seesaw,
like a rusty windmill. Like it's just like
exactly. That's what. Yeah, it's like that old chicken pointing north. It's like spinning around on top of your barn. Yeah,
yeah. I would say that like it's. I mean, Rev's at the trailer park. It could be a wide range of options right now.
Yeah,
that's not
do live in a trailer park, bro.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that, man.
Solar powered unit kicking on the wind chimes.
I grew up in a $500 trailer, and when I say a $500 trailer, I don't mean a month. I mean, somebody said, you pay $500 to haul this piece of crap out of here, you can have it.
Yeah.
And that's what we lived in for a very, very long time.
Hey, man. Hey, we're all trailer park boys.
Nothing wrong with that.
I was one of them too, man. The trailer park's a beautiful place. It really, really is. But I think we all right. It's gone. All right.
Yeah,
hey, we turned off the solar power at Rev. If it starts flickering soon, we know what happens. But anything to make Brewzle happy. Rev, sorry. I know it's cold up in the mountains in Arizona, but you'll figure it out, bro.
Was that your heat?
No.
Okay.
It was everything. It was everything.
I got two rotten kids running amok right now because we live in a trailer park.
I understand.
I just think you're just a dad, man. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair.
It's not a Dude Network show if someone's kids aren't running amok. You hear dogs barking, something like that.
Oh, mine are liable to bark, or my kids are liable to run by any second. Because I told my wife, and she's like, "It's 8 o'clock on a Friday. I'm not going to make everybody be quiet." And I was like, "It's okay. We'll make it work."
Yeah, absolutely. Rev, I know I keep talking, man. I've been so excited to talk to the TJ up here, man. I'm just like taking full steam of all these questions here. Give me a break here, man. I know you've got a couple questions. You're more of like the science behind distillery guy. So I'm curious what you've brainstormed for TJ.
I got all kinds of stuff.
I figured.
Well, you're talking about some of the experimentations you're doing with rapid aging, nuclear aging, stuff like that. Can you kind of explain some of those? Because I've definitely experimented on my own with some very interesting techniques that we can get into if you want. Well,
you got to understand my goal in life, and my goal in life is not to have a bunch of money. My goal in life is not to, my goal is really to just be creative. And I have a lot of really, really dumb ideas that require a lot of money. So I got to make some money, to fund all the really, really dumb ideas I have. And so when I'm doing experimentation or rapid aging, realistically, I'm just trying to have fun with it. So I'm not trying to do anything super science. You're never going to see me do anything super scientific or really over the top. So what we're trying to do, we've got a video series we're trying to do where I'm taking ancient age, like $12 ancient age made by Buffalo Trace, and I'm running experiments on it, and then we're going to custom blend it, and we're going to take it to bourbon YouTubers or bourbon TikTokers, and we're going to see if we can get them to blind pick it over Blanton's.
Oh, nice.
I'm just taking $12 bourbon and I'm aging it in barrels and I'm putting oak staves on it. We actually have distilled the whiskey out of it so we can take the proof up. Like, we're just doing a whole bunch of dumb things. And then we're going to try to blend those together and see if we can come up with some sort of concoction that somebody says is better than Blanton's. And if we do, it's going to be a big win.
Very cool.
So is Blanton's your favorite pour? And if it's not your favorite pour, which one is? You taste everything. I've never heard you come out and say, I have a go-to pour that is this.
This right here. This is my ride or die right here. This is the one that's like, if I'm just drinking something, like if I gotta have a pour, or if I'm drinking by myself, you know, I just want to come have a nice pour on a Friday night, it is Weller Antique 107.
Nice.
Now that's nice. I love Weller stuff. So like William LaRue Weller, the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection is my favorite, but that's what's at a $2,000 bottle in the secondary market. Yeah. This guy here, I can usually keep in stock. Now, keep in mind, I don't go through a lot of bourbon just because there are 300 bottles behind me. So like we're always rotating. So I don't finish very many bottles. Yeah. This is the bottle. For every bottle we finish, I also finish a bottle of this. So this is about half the bourbon that I seem to consume around here.
Right on.
In Ohio, I can only find the special. I have never found the red for sale. I can get the special reserve 9 times out of 10, but I can't. And even like a year ago, you couldn't do that. For some reason in Ohio, the allocation is really weird. I've been told they turn away allocation because they try to push to stay listed in Ohio. You have to sell so many cases a year to stay listed, or you become delisted. So they try to keep as much outside as possible out. So people have to buy more of the state-run, of the state-based micro distilleries, so they hit their quota so they can stay listed. That's what I've been told. But anyway, the Special Reserve, which is a solid, best $22 bottle I can find.
Well, this is a different animal right here. Okay, this is. Like the Special Reserve's fine. It's not bad. At that price, good pour, get it, drink it. But this is special. And, you know, not everybody's going to agree with that. And it's okay. If you don't agree with it, you're wrong. But, like, we can just agree to disagree. Like, this is an exceptional pour. The Special Reserve is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. You know, I have the Weller's just always been hard. It's always been hard to find. I was finally able to get a bottle of Taylor this year. That was an experience. That was cool. And that's when you travel. I travel for work, so I'm able to find places outside. I'm able to stop at a lot of stores and do a lot of good old fashioned bourbon hunting. I do not do secondhand market. I just can't bring myself to do it. There's a thrill in finding something on the shelf, and I like stopping at the farm towns in like southern Indiana and stuff like that. Like that's where you get some good scores. But but then like when I found the Taylor, they're like, sorry, I only have the regular Taylor today. And I'm like, well, I've never seen a bottle for sale ever on the shelf. So yeah, that's a big deal. I'll take one. And they're like, okay. And this was down in like East Tennessee. So it's funny, like the state to state, like North Carolina, they can charge whatever the hell they want. Indiana, they can charge whatever the hell they want. Kentucky, they can charge whatever the hell they want. Ohio, it's regulated. It sounds like Alabama's regulated. They set the price on that too, right?
Well, with Alabama, there's a couple of different types of stores. First, you have the state-run stores, and you're never, ever, 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 ever going to walk into a state-run store and see a Weller Special Reserve, an E.H. Taylor, anything allocated, really allocated, like really desirable allocated. There's some stuff that's allocated, and you're like, why? I don't know, because nobody cares about it. You know, Angel's Envy's allocated, but that's usually on the shelf somewhere. So what they do is they do a drop every month, and they release some of their allocated stuff. And then they do a lottery at the end of the year for like the really hard to find stuff. Your Pappies.
That's what Ohio is doing right now. Yep.
And so, but then you've got what we call gas station liquor stores, because most of them are attached to gas stations, not all of them. And so those stores are all privately owned. Now they have to buy it from the Alabama ABC. So there's not a lot of margin on it. So every time you go into one of those gas station stores, a bottle of Jack Daniels is going to be $10 more than you would pay for it at a state-run store, because they bought it for $5 less than I could get it at the state-run store myself.
Convenient stores.
Yeah, exactly. And so they'll have some allocation occasionally. It's usually few and far between, but like every month or so, I'll go in and there'll be some bottle sitting there, and some of them are well priced, some of them are terrible. Like for instance, I went into a store. I guess it's been a couple of months ago, and they had a bottle of Eagle Rare sitting there, and this is what, a $30 bottle. MSRP 30-ish. They had this bottle for like $100.
Isn't that crazy?
And then the Weller, and this even secondary is only like 45 or 50 on this guy. And they had Weller Antique 107, and they had Weller Special Reserve. The Weller Special Reserve was like $80, $90, and then the Antique 107 was $75. And I'm like, you just keep the other two. I'll take, like, even that's pretty marked up, but that's below secondary, and the other two were well above secondary. So I was like, I'll take the good one, and you keep the okay ones, and we'll all be happy.
See, this is you just don't know, because like here in Arizona, we don't have any of that. Like you can find Wellers at like Walmart or like the gas station, and it's all just standard MSRP retail price.
You can find this.
No, just the standard Weller, not like the special reserve.
Well, I say, if you can just get this at MSRP at a gas station, you could send me enough of it to get yourself out of the trailer park.
You know, that's the funny thing. We have.
Good luck getting them out of it, TJ. It's a. I
didn't say you had to move, but you could have the nicest double wide in that trailer park just by sending me the 107 at double MSRP.
Just say you'll give them a new Wrangler. I mean, that would give you
the thing. Like here, like we don't have ABC stores. We don't have package stores. We don't have any of those rules or laws out here in Arizona.
So my buddy who moved down to Florida sent me a picture today of him buying a whole case of VH Taylor, and there was still 3 cases left after he left. And I was like, God, apparently Florida gets all the allocation.
It's still hard to find. So, and maybe it's me. Like every time I go hunting in Florida, it's around the beach, and it's hit or miss. Like most of those stores, if it's like, because see, it used to be you could go to these little ghetto stores, right? If you went to a store where everybody's just buying Fireball or cognac or something like that, they would get allocation. They would sit there forever. Mm-hmm. But everybody's got, they've kind of got onto that, and those store owners have started charging secondary prices. So now if you walk in and they got a bottle of Stag Junior's $300, or an E.H. Taylor's going to be $150, $200. And so those stores are no luck whatsoever. And then I go into like the fancy rich neighborhoods, and they have stuff slightly marked up, but it's not like top tier stuff. It's, it's going to be something that's kind of hard to find, but not super hard to find.
If you know on this, it's all about your approach when you walk into a store. You have to let them, like I go out of my way to let them know that I am a drinker. I am not a reseller. I am a simple guy that just needed a piss break in this boat gas Southern Indiana town. And I was down at the brewery. This is what I had. Because when I got my last bottle of Blanton's, they had Buffalo Trace. And I was like, I was just down at the distillery. I was like, I already got 2 backup bottles. I don't need any more Buffalo. I was like, I just wanted to stop by. And me turning away the Buffalo Trace, the guy comes out of the left field behind the counter. He goes, how are you on your Blanton's inventory? And I was like, well, as a matter of fact, always need a backup bottle. And he sold me a bottle at $65 because I established it. He went and pulled it out of the back in the secret back room. Like, you have to let people know, especially the shop owners, because they've had these people come in and wipe them out, and the locals aren't getting anything. So you have to convince them. It's a sale, man. It's all a sales. Life is sales. That is a fact.
See, we don't have that kind of situation out here. We even have restaurants that have And I'm not talking like 5-star restaurants either. We have like breakfast joints that have pappies on, at their bar.
Yeah. I mean,
I've been to Arizona. I didn't see that shit.
He's in northern Arizona.
You went to Phoenix or in Tucson, though, right?
Yeah, I was in Phoenix.
You come up to the mountains, it's a totally different ballgame up here, brother.
Well, I may need to go to the mountains then.
Let's go.
We'll show you around, man. Anytime.
TJ, pick me. I'll pick you up. Let's go.
How far is that from Vegas?
2.5, 3 hours, depending on how fast you drive.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Vegas like 4 weeks in the first quarter of next year. So,
well, if you make time, let me know, man.
You're there for 4 weeks straight?
No. Well, I'm going to be there for 3 weeks from mid-January to early February, and then I've got to be back in like mid to late March for a week. Yeah.
He's calling you out. You better follow through. Don't make us look bad.
Hey, if you know what? You hit me up, no problem, man. We'll show you around town, show you all the best spots.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's we'll figure that out.
Absolutely.
I've got a couple of conferences and I got like a weekend between, a couple of things to do, but I might have a little time.
There we go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's content that I'm here to see for sure. TJ, thank you so much for coming on here, man. First, what we hope is more times. We'd love to have you back on. I know a half hour is really hard on the first time to really get a deep dive into everything. But I feel like we got a really good idea of what you are, what you do. You're as cool in person as you seem in your videos, man. We're blessed to have you on here. Believe it or not, you are a big deal. You're killing it. You're a lot of people look up to you, whether you want to believe it or not. And people enjoy your content. Go ahead, Rev.
I do have one question for our esteemed guest here. Have you ever tried something called Manx?
I have not.
So, you know where the Isle of Man is?
Yeah.
In Great Britain?
Sure.
So,
the motorcycle races.
Yeah. So, the island is too small to produce any large crops to make any distilled items, regardless of what it is. So, what they do is they take the bottom of the barrels from the surrounding regions in like England and Ireland and redistill it. And they make something called Manx. And there's just a standard Manx and then a special reserve.
Sounds interesting. Where do I get one?
It's very interesting. We can hook you up.
Yeah. What else is interesting? I want to finish this show out here after you leave with some honey barrel finished bourbon from Cleveland Whiskey.
Nice.
Uh-oh.
Cleveland they collabed with a local honey shop. They gave them a barrel. They filled that barrel up all the way with honey. They distributed the honey. They put the bourbon back in there, so it's got the nice little honey smoothness to it. Pretty solid.
Nice.
Pretty solid. But yeah, Brewzle, man, you are the absolute. Man, you're awesome. This guy said it here the best. TJ Gamble rocks. I agree, Robert. I agree.
Thank you, Robert.
Go give him a follow. BREWZLE. It's up there in parentheses. Just Google that, and I guarantee you he's big enough that it'll pop up right at the top of the feed. Where are you at? You're on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. You anywhere else?
Yeah, Facebook. We don't like Instagram. We're struggling with. They don't want to promote alcohol stuff. So really, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube.
There we go. Well, man, we appreciate you. You have a great weekend. Drink on, brother. And
absolutely.
Until next time we talk to you, man, enjoy that Eagle Rare. It looks delicious, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on the show, brother.
Cheers to you, TJ. Thank you.
See y'all.
All right. See ya. All right, now it's TJ, man. We got Unky coming on here. We're going to take a 1-minute piss break here. Look at us doing commercials and stuff here tonight, man.
We might need to make some commercials instead of just showing last week's show.
A month ago. You know what, man? We missed Johnsy, all right? Johnsy would have had us here. I'm doing without. We're Red Stapler productionless.
Yeah, where is Red Stapler when we need him, bro? Do you understand what a necessity he is in our lives?
I don't know, man.
Look at we're just winging it, bro.
I didn't even play the right video earlier, by the way. And I have to wait for
know.
I mean, I would pause this ad on this YouTube here, but man, that's 2 cents, dude. We can't give up 2 cents.
One of these days, we're hoping for a bus pass here on the Dude Network.
Yeah, I mean, we're close. How much is a bus pass? I've never needed to have one.
The last time I got one, like 20 years ago. It was $37, so now it's probably like
All right, we need about another like 10 months, and we might be able to get you an old school bus pass. But we'll be right back in 1 minute after this piss break. We'll be back with our good buddy Unky from Unky Seasoning. Keep it right locked in right here on the Dude Network. I'm trying to time this up like I did in radio. Not good.
But I had Kaiser, just me and him, Tuesday. I'm like, well, fuck it. B-Dubs has like 10 free boneless wings and fries. I'm like, man, we'll hit it up. So I go there and I'm like, hey, if you have that veteran menu with the, like I said, I don't ask for discounts ever. And they're like, hey, yeah, we're not doing that at this one. We're giving you 25% off. I'm like,
you went to a franchise, not a corporate one, sucker.
Yep. And then,
Bro,
me and Kaiser had a kids meal, and I still stuck with 10 boneless because, today I just wanted to be a girl. It's Girls' Day, and I still got a $32 bill for a kids meal, wings and fries.
That's a cold-hearted bitch.
The veterans getting the shaft yet again.
Yeah, right. Hey.
Only since we took that out, bro.
All right, man. We are back. That was awesome. That was awesome. That was when I was originally trying to play to begin with. But
that was awesome. That was awesome.
That was
when I was originally trying to play.
We're still talking.
Johnsy, where are you when we need you, bro?
God damn
You can't
it,
let
Johnsy.
Tony do this by himself ever again.
This is bullshit, Johnsy. I can't work under these conditions. So, speaking of not working under these conditions, someone that's probably worked under some pretty hot and heavy conditions. See what I did right there?
Nice segue.
That was a beautiful segue. One of the best I have ever had in the history of the Dude Network. And it's because this guy's spirit brings it out in me, Rev. This guy makes me want to be a better person. This guy makes me want to save the world. This guy makes me want to take a dead rabbit and nuzzle it with my beard and bring it back to life. This guy's got some seasoning blends. Rev's got beaver pelts and rabbit pelts and random chupacabras hanging on his back wall. Joining us from what looks to be a luxurious fire station studio, or I don't even know what, but the man, the myth, come on now. Let's go on and meet Unky. Let's go.
I'm here.
What's
Let's
up,
go.
What's going on?
Come on now. Let's go.
What's up, Tony? The Rebels guys. How's y'all's night going?
It's going, brother. How you doing?
Always better when we're talking to someone like you, man. A polarizing figure such as yourself. Life is great.
Don't worry, that money's in the Cash App, buddy. Thank you for that intro.
Don't worry, pay it because it gets interest by the hour. And you know the rates these days, they ain't light.
Yeah, that's right.
You should see Tony's OnlyFans, how much money he rakes in on that one.
Yeah,
At least $20 a month for me.
I was gonna say I get one primo, but it's good to know it's Unky.
That's right, buddy.
Man, I've made stuff disappear for you. You son of a
What?
Nothing.
Oh,
Hey,
We
settle.
We don't talk about Bruno. Man, we don't talk about So Unky, man, how the hell are you doing, man? It's nice to we've talked forever. Like I feel like I've known you forever because we've texted and messaged a lot. And but how you doing, man? Like, welcome to the Dude Network, home of debauchery.
Yes. I catch y'all here and there, but usually I try to get an early bedtime here on the East Coast. So usually about 9 o'clock, I pop it on as I go to bed. And,
What part of the East Coast?
I'm over here on the eastern part of Virginia, Suffolk, Virginia. We're
Nice.
2 cities in from the beach.
Yeah, very cool.
I'm probably down your. I know. I have a feeling I'm going to be down your way at some point this year because the coworker's from Hampton, and he's got some stuff down there he needs me to help him out with.
Okay, good. That's probably 30 minutes away from me.
Sounds like it's not too far away.
Oh, definitely not.
There will be a 3-alarm fire that day, so it's not your fault, Tony. And
I'm out there. Hey,
if you can't make that dinner date,
give me a hose and give me a helmet. I'm ready to go. That's all I know. I'm ready to get dirty. I'll scrub the toilets for these guys to let them fix out their morning grumpers after breakfast. Whatever needs to happen to help be part of the team, I'm ready.
We always need some people to pack our hose for us.
Yeah,
the first time Tony got to say getting dirty with hose and it not be dirty and disgusting. So we appreciate your presence.
Does watch these shows. So that one might bite me in the ass tomorrow morning when I'm getting a rerun recap from the wifey poo.
Nice.
Yeah. So fun fact, Rev and Unky, since you're listening, the Lane family is a long, rich tradition family dating back to colonization days across the river from Jamestown, where the Lanes got their first 500 acres. Are you ready for this? This goes to show you what kind of, sales was in my blood. He remarried a widow of a red-coated soldier who was gifted all this land for fighting against the Indians and Native Americans and whatnot. He remarried the woman, bought off her daughter with 50 pounds of tobacco to get 500 acres. And that's how we laid our claim to this land. He was an indentured servant up until that point. We were go-getters.
Nice.
Apparently, somewhere down by you can still go see like the original foundation because it's all state forest now.
Okay. Yeah, Jamestown, a lot of it's still preserved. And a little interesting fact, I watched, being the National Smithsonian video, an hour documentary about Pocahontas, that her tribe just got federally recognized a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Because they were wiped out.
Damn.
Yeah. And
Disney made all their millions and they still weren't recognized. Sounds about right. That's the American dream.
And the thing is, everything up there is named after her father, Chief Powhatan.
Powhatan. Powhatan?
Something like that. I can't remember. Like that.
Or is it Powhatan?
I'm on the south side. I don't see the name a lot, but
come on, man.
But yeah, a lot of things named after her father.
People, man, you can't be community if you don't know the community. What's wrong with you?
Man, that's not my thing. It's my buddy Rolfie. He's actually the guy. He's related to Pocahontas' son.
What? I thought they were all wiped out. I'm so confused.
No. The Native Americans were wiped out, not the
other side of the
Caucasian side.
Pocahontas went back to England, right?
Yeah, and she died, and then her son came back over years later and ended up being a farmer and a landowner, all that kind of stuff. There's not a whole much stuff to it, but it's really, a lot of history in this area, man. I tell you,
fascinating stuff.
I am in the peanut capital of the world, down the street from the hand capital of the world, and of course, our dark history of having the Confederacy capitals.
Sure.
So,
how do you feel about boiled peanuts?
Oh, they're not bad. I like homemade. I don't like the canned stuff. Yeah, the can is good if you're in a pinch or a truck stop. But my mother-in-law's got a great recipe, and my wife's family are a bunch of peanut farmers.
Nice.
Oh, nice. I like them. I've had them fresh off the pot or they're still warm, and those were delicious. Cold, no thanks.
You got to have the Virginia peanut, though. We're famous for that.
Okay, see, these were Georgia peanuts.
They're all right, but the Virginia peanuts, that strand it's from Virginia. It's in North Carolina and a little bit of South Carolina carries that strand. And my father grows the seeds for all those farmers.
Rev, you probably knew this. I did not know there was a peanut war of territory.
Oh yeah, this is fighting words. It's like the Red Sox versus the Yankees, bro.
I didn't know.
Mr. Peanut was born down the street from me, bud. This is Planter's home field. That's why we're in the peanut capital of the world. Yeah. He was drawn in a school down the street. Not only that, Uncle Phil, he was born at Obacy. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Uncle Phil was born down the street.
What the
history?
You just broke Tony's brain.
I had no idea, man. Robert Race goes to, everybody knows about the peanut wars. Come on. Well, apparently we do. Now it's everybody, now that I'm up to speed.
Yeah, it's been a couple years, but our mayor, that's probably been maybe a decade, went down to Georgia to challenge them on, they were having some kind of parade, peanut parade or something like that. our mayor went down there to correct them and say they were wrong. And it was all good fun. It was all good fun. But our mayor went down there and told them, "Y'all not the peanut capital.
Was
we are."
Was it or was it not an election year?
It's probably an election year.
Almost guaranteed, bro.
That sounds like hey, good for that guy, man, playing the game, trying to earn that $60K a year of untaxed money, man.
He probably wrote it off as a vacation.
Yeah. Oh, no, it came out of your property taxes, bro. Don't worry.
That's all right.
So Unky, man, you're a full-time firefighter, correct?
That is correct. I've been a firefighter for 19 years.
When you're not blowing people's minds away with your flavorific flavor profiles from Unky Seasoning, you're putting out fires.
Well,
not taste buds.
Yes.
With a hose, like that. I mean, my segues in this segment's not bad. We can still get a little bit better. We're getting there though.
All right.
So, man, like let's talk. So you guys got to cook at the firehouse, right? How many people are on a shift? How does that work? Talk full-time firefighter life right now for those that don't know, that live like me, that live in the volunteer fire department communities. Nailed it.
Okay. Excuse me. All right. Full-time firefighters, the only thing different between us and volunteers is we get a paycheck. My hats are off to the volunteers. I've been a volunteer for the beginning of my career as a firefighter, and they do it for fun. Do it for the call. They do it for the community, and they're absolutely amazing. We have some volunteers here in my city, and first off, so I just want to thank all the volunteer firefighters and EMS workers out there, so because their community needs them.
No, absolutely. And hats off to anybody like willing to sacrifice their life for a paycheck to provide their family, man. Like that's pretty badass, in my opinion. So have you always been a firefighter? I mean, how long have you been in it? How long have you been in it?
I've been a firefighter for 19 years, and 16 of them have been for the federal government. I'm federal fire, and I come from a whole long line of first responders in my family. And goes back to my great-grandfather. He ran rescue. My grandfather was a Norfolk County patrolman. Then when the city of Chesapeake formed, he was badge number 8. His brother-in-law.
That seems pretty early.
Yeah, 1963 is when the city of Chesapeake formed.
Well, like number 8. Like I feel like number 8 ever, right?
Yeah, he was the 8th police officer for the city of Chesapeake.
That's badass because that's a big city.
and they drove the 4 Galaxies, the same one that Andy Griffith drove. That was their cars.
Awesome.
Don't make me whistle it. I'm trying not to whistle right now. I'm trying so hard not to whistle right now.
His brothers and his brother-in-law became a high-ranking, I forgot the title, high-ranking officer in Chesapeake for police. His other brothers ran volunteer rescue. And my grandfather's kids, my father and his brother, my uncle, he was a cop for the city, a firefighter for the city. Then he was also a volunteer beforehand. And he followed my father, that was also a volunteer, into the federal government. So my uncle, my father, and me, we're all federal firefighters. And 10 years ago, my brother joined the city of Chesapeake Fire Department. And he made lieutenant last October. And he was assigned to the firehouse the whole family has been assigned to. From all the family that did rescue, all the boys, including myself, that were rescue, fireside, we all did time in the same physical station that my brother's now an officer of.
Some people have a choice in life of what they're going to do. And then there's people like Unky that was like, you're going to be a first responder.
And I never wanted to be one until after high school.
Yeah. My daddy's daddy.
That's the weirdest thing.
Daddy. Yeah.
So
is that a unicorn up on your desk? What's up with the unicorn?
Yeah, that's a unicorn.
Is there a story, or do you just have random unicorns hanging out?
I'm a unicorn myself, buddy. I'm a rare person.
You are a one of one.
Magical, mystical creature.
You are a mystical, ethical, sexy creature that deserves those. I would get your tattoo on my shoulder. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. It's God. That's a whole bunch of stories how that started.
There's a question. There's a question from Brian Kelly. Tony asked about the unicorn on the shelf.
I'm trying to remember. which one this came from. I don't know. It was from my niece. I think it came from the firehouse. Somebody at the firehouse got that for me for my birthday. It started probably, now 3 years ago. Our senior firefighter, our oldest guy in our station, he was my lieutenant. He just started buying me unicorn stuff. That's it, really. He started buying it, giving it to me. We started, like, each room had its own theme. So he wanted to do unicorn with me. So senior man gives you a gift, you use it. And I had all kinds of stuff. I mean, a whole giant shelf just packed full of unicorn stuff. Catacorn cereal, the unicorn energy drinks, unicorn cakes.
Lisa Frank. Please say there was a Lisa Frank unicorn.
No.
For the love of God.
No, they don't like me that much. No, they didn't like me that much.
Man,
but
they hate you, man. That's disrespectful.
So they
don't
all
even like
stuff,
you,
man.
Knowing that they don't even like you. That's terrible. I like you, but they don't. I would have got you Lisa Frank everything.
So you
I would even have my wife, Alyssa, bedazzle it for you.
So you go in my room at my firehouse. I got a shelf with just a little bit left because I filled up a huge trash bag and gave it to my niece. So me and her, we bond over unicorns. So it's a little thing I do with my niece. But you go in there. There's art on the wall. A stuffed head of a unicorn, like you would mount a deer. So I got a unicorn head. My sheets are unicorn, and what is there? Oh, and it has actually the story of the unicorn because the unicorn is Scotland's national animal.
So that's where the unicorn lives at, in the hills of the Scottish Highlands.
It's in Scotland, and it's on the now king's crest is a unicorn. It's the lion, and it's the unicorn on the king's crest in England. And if you go to Scotland, there's unicorns everywhere. And you can hunt them on the peninsula of Michigan. There's a college that sells a hunting license, and I got one. You cannot use children as baits. I forgot what all the rules were.
What?
But yeah,
I work in Michigan, up in the UP. What city does this?
Oh man, you would honestly have to Google it because I printed it out about 3 years ago. You make a donation to it's like a literature department of one of the colleges up there, and you get to print out a PDF.
Oh, it's Lake Superior State up in St. Clair. Awesome.
So there you go. You got a unicorn license right there, bud. I think you
nice.
hunt males, has all the rules.
That's awesome. Anybody wanting to hunt unicorns, go to Lake Superior State University, home of the Lakers. And up in it's close to Mackinac Island, where there's trick question. Okay, Mr. Fireman guy. There's only, and I probably gave it away, but there's only one engine allowed on Mackinac Island. Okay. Because it is a horse and buggy community. Everything is horse buggy. You have to. There's only one engine that requires petrol on the whole island of Mackinac Island, home of Mackinac Island Fudge. Do you know what that engine is?
Engine 1.
Yeah, it's the fire truck. It's the only engine allowed on Mackinac Island.
You talk about
you take a ferry over and you get on horse and buggy carriages and they drive you around the island. That's your Uber or bicycles.
And you asked me what kind of who makes that engine?
No, it's just if you knew what engine was allowed on the island. But as a firefighter, and I handed around to it, pretty poor presentation by me.
It's okay, but I'm gonna Google this later tonight.
Okay, yeah, no, it's actually it's really cool, and I've been told to check my email. Hang on.
Okay.
Uh-oh, I have no email. But that's so. Someone asked, "What's the difference between federal and county fire?" And Brian goes, "Who pays you?"
Yeah, that's where it really comes down to. With federal fire,
there's better. What would pay better, federal or county?
It all depends on
the county,
your area. Yeah, here in 757, the Hampton Roads area, the cities are actually starting to be more competitive with us with our annual salary. So with the federal government, we only have 2 shifts because the federal government came out with a rule many moons ago saying everybody has to go to a minimum of 3 shifts. So the federal government, do what I say, not what I do. So we have to work a minimum of 13 days a month, when on average the city or county firefighters, they tend to work about 10 days a month. So their hourly is higher than ours, but our hours are higher. And in the federal government, it's like set 38 hours at a time and a half. It's weird math. But annually salary, we do make a little bit more here in Hampton Roads, and we got federal benefits. But the cities are now being more competitive. So they're trying to bring up their numbers because firefighters, fire departments across the nation are hurting right now for people. Nobody wants to come join. That's what it comes down to.
I don't think it's just firefighters.
Yeah. I can speak on behalf of the firefighters. And with DOD being a part of the federal government, you got the federal background checks and stuff like that, which are a little bit more detailed than the city and the localities. So it just kind of comes down to where you're at.
Yeah. No. Yeah, all right. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. I just like the questions we get, man, because that was
not a problem.
That was something I wouldn't have definitely thought of asking. I just follow the money. I don't care who pays me the most. Are you going to pay me more? And actually, that's not everything. It used to be. I've learned a long time. You can't put a price tag on quality of life.
You ain't kidding. Right now, we're supposed to be working 48-hour shifts, 48 hours on, 48 hours off. But because we're so short staffed, especially in my department, that we're working 72 hours on, 24 hours off, back for another 72 until we get we have what we call a Kelly day. It's a random day off, a rotating day off, and that could be a 3, 4, or 6 day break. So,
dude. So, I mean, how much is the family loving that schedule right now? It's a little tough. Everybody's sacrificing.
It's hard if you're talking about being at a firehouse for 72 hours. In my area, a lot of times we're not that busy because we have a great fire prevention. So they do their job and they do a fantastic job. So we don't have a lot of fires. We do have a lot of medical calls. And depending on where you're at, you can run a lot of at least EMS calls. EMS calls are considered 80% of your runs nationwide. Minimum EMS runs are 80% of your calls. So you can get calls all day long, constantly running. And you try to do that for 72 hours. Yeah. There are some stations that are busy. I'm fortunate enough. Mine's not that crazy. We are able to get some good sleep here and there. Some good naps, we'll say. And we'll still run a lot. But it's a lot. So it's mentally taxing on you. Then you're sitting around. Your family's going out to events, school events. Just you're missing so much with the family, and it does get really hard.
Yeah, I mean, because you can have a flexible schedule. Yeah, you get like a full 24 hours off, a couple days a week, and all that. But when you have kids and you're a family man, it's hard, man. The wives and people of this show, which will be a segue into a segment here in a few minutes that we're going to do with you. Wives don't get enough love and appreciation for that they do. We're very much in tune with that here on the Dude Network, and hopefully that changes here for you, man. But I know I'm personally appreciative of the sacrifice not only you, but everybody's making. And even though you're getting paid, just that story there, man, just because you're getting a paycheck firefighting doesn't mean that you're not sacrificing all the time. And 3 straight days, going from 2 days on, 2 days off to 3 days on and 1 day off. I'm sure from a family life perspective, that would eat me alive, man. That takes sacrifice. Yeah. We're thankful for you and everybody.
It takes a strong
and
woman.
Here's a little life perspective for everybody who's watching. If you have an emergency, these are the people who are coming to your house. These are the people who are going to help you out of a sticky situation. And you know what? A lot of people just take that for granted, especially here in the States. We can call it his magic number, and someone's going to come to your house and rescue you, whether it's a fire, you have a medical emergency.
Yeah, and that's what I love about my job, because if somebody calls me, they're having a bad day, and I'm there to make it better. That's what I love about the job. I'm not like the guys in the blue. I'm not here to give you a ticket. Not here to take you away to somewhere you don't want to go.
Yeah.
I'm here to make your day better.
And that's the thing, man. Y'all don't get
Unky
enough
Baker says cops suck. Firefighters really heard it here first on the Dude Network.
You know, and I wasn't going to say this, but now that you brought it up, you don't see a lot of red lives matter flags, because we kind of already know that. Like, it's not really necessary.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but also the firefighters, like, we had a house catch on fire. Like, firefighters, like, and I don't know how it is down there, but the volunteers, they knew that they had the house, like, it wasn't going to catch on fire. They knew they had the fire under control, but they knew there was a lot of smoke in the house. So they spent the time throwing out, like, every family picture, photo album, family heirloom they could possibly find. And without that, like, logic mindset, like, we would have lost everything to smoke damage. So, like, yeah, everything was like, they were just like literally throwing shit out the window from the second floor in the farmhouse. But without that act, man, like, we have like no family photos. Like,
that's part of our basic training and academy. It's called salvage. We call it salvage and overhaul. Overhaul, basically, you're tearing the walls out, looking for fire, making sure it didn't go anywhere. The salvage part, we're trained sometimes during the fire, while one crew's in the back of the house trying to put out the fire. Another crew's in there covering everything up. We have tarps on the truck, special tarps that won't burn or catch on fire, and we'll take it and we'll start deploying them on family heirlooms. Like, we'll start putting all your living room stuff in a giant pile, and we'll cover it, because if we're on the second floor flowing water's going to go down. So we try to do that. We try to take it out, and every situation, every call is different, but it's you got to think about being a firefighter. It's all about PR for us, public relations. Right. You know, we're there to make people's day better, and we do it by any means necessary.
You know,
well, we have. Oh, go ahead, Red. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I grew up back east. I'm from Long Island, and I knew a bunch of volunteer firemen. You know, I grew up in an Irish neighborhood, so they're either cops or firemen where I grew up. You know, yeah. And back then, they used to hand out these stickers you put on your kids' windows, right? That had a silhouette of a fireman with a kid on it. Yeah. Now in the hood, they used to do. New York City issued bulletproof vests to the firemen because of that sticker. So back in the 90s, crackheads would light a building on fire, and they'd put those stickers on the window so they could steal all the firemen's stuff.
Wow.
Jesus.
So I knew this one firefighter who was a non-vet, and he said, I'm not wearing it. My gear is like 300 pounds, and I got to climb 8 stories to get into buildings in the city. I'm not wearing it. He did, on the other hand, carry his 1911 in the buildings just in case. And you know what? Nobody ever said a single thing to him.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So yeah, Unky, you could be in Long Island. There's that. Sounds fun.
Nah. I've heard the horror stories of the what they call them, the Harlem Wars era.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There was
the Bed-Stuy riots. Oh yeah.
Detroit's going through it now. Where they have all these abandoned houses lighting off between arsons or an accident from homeless people, and they're going through it. And
one of the biggest things, like back then, especially in like the Bronx and Harlem and stuff, these buildings were abandoned, but technically they still had owners. So the owners would still have to pay property tax to the city.
Mm-hmm. But
if the building caught fire, number one, they wouldn't have to pay the property tax, but number two, they can collect the insurance money.
Cash out. Yep.
So they weren't mad if crackheads were in their house playing around with crack pipes and stuff. Yeah.
Nope. They sure weren't.
Nope. We do have a guy, speaking of like making things better, he must have heard us channel out the struggle we're having with our red table tonight. So without further ado, for a special surprise performance on one of his own shows, we got Johnsy in the house. What's up?
How's it going, fellas?
What's about time, bro.
Hey, John's got latex on. Whoever coughs first is the loser.
Can you guys hear me good?
Yeah. You're good.
So I got to jump in since we got Unky on here, the firefighter and king. I'm the exact opposite experience of the firehouse. I'm the reason growing up. I'm the reason we have firefighters. You know.
Okay.
You know,
Johnsy's the reason why we have safeties on our lighters.
Yeah,
now.
Johnsy's the reason we have warning labels too. But go ahead.
We call it job security.
The earliest, one of the earliest stories, I was like 3 or something, and I meant underneath my sister's bed in her room because I couldn't do it in my room. My mom would look for me there, so I was lighting matches and just watching them burn, watching the sulfur go. But underneath my sister's bed is where my mom kept all of her sewing patterns. And if anybody knows from growing up in the 80s and 90s, those are all made of tissue paper.
Tissue paper, yeah.
So that was experience number 1. By the time I was, I think I was like 9 or 10, I had to go through like a scared straight program with the deputy fire chief. And let me tell you, back then, folks, it was basic. So most people won't understand when I say it was like red asphalt, but with the fire edition.
I know exactly what that is, and it's awesome.
No, yeah. Dude, it was like, I was like 10, and this dude's screaming at me like, this is what's going to happen if you keep playing with fire. And it's like people running out of buildings on fire, screaming.
And shit.
Yeah. Hey. A week later, I accidentally burned down half an acre. So I have since, Unky, I've since changed my ways, and I contain it to a grill or something
and
like
Kim
that.
lets you barbecue at the house, bro.
I was going to say, man, this is now why we know why he's got a Traeger, not an offset. It makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I have 2 Webers and an offset, right? And I came over to barbecue, and my dad had 2 brand new fire extinguishers on his table. And like, I'm thinking like, oh, he must have just got them because the other ones are expired or whatever. And he's like, well, you said you were coming over to cook on all the grills, so I picked up a couple extra.
Damn.
Nice.
Papa John's, he don't mess around. Papa John.
Yeah. I was a little bit of a pyro back. I used to love
it. Just now dawned on me that your dad is Papa John's.
Yeah.
No, Papa John. Actually,
yeah. Papa John's.
No, it is Papa John, technically. So
nope.
The
not anymore.
Before Dad, our last name is John. But when he was in the Air Force, or I can't remember which branch, they're like, his sergeant or whatever guy got all pissed and was like, that's too much of a first name, throw an S on that. And it's been John's ever since. On my birth certificate, it says John's with an S. On my dad's, there's no S. Or his dad, there's no S. I can't remember.
Your dad is the Papa John. That's not good.
Well, I mean,
the guy's caught up in some shit, you know.
Yeah, but we ain't that Papa John, so I don't give a crap.
Yeah, but now you can hook up with Shaq, bro. Because since he owns
you can get a Shaq. What's
Shaq-a-roni.
What was the first Shaq-a-roni like?
The first Shaq-a-roni. Hey, my earliest, I remember Shaq in all the Taco Bell commercials in the late 80s, early 90s with the TNS.
Bro, okay. I remember Little Richard on the Taco Bell commercials, dude.
The which one?
Little Richard.
Yeah, when their slogan was Taco Bell, make a run for the border.
All right. Unky remembers.
Hey, Unky, have you ever had to respond to a call of a kitchen fire?
Oh, yeah. Always. Something's always fire in the oven.
Have you ever walked into a restaurant with it on fire and you're like, fuck this, let it burn?
No. Not with a
restaurant. It's a lost cause, boys. Save yourselves. Grab your kids, grab your wife, run.
I've been in a couple of kitchen fires and they're a little terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
we've been fortunate. They've just been mostly just stove or oven fires, and people will open it and then freak out and leave. Leave it closed. Leave your oven closed and call the fire department. Just
Ding.
leave it closed. It's not going to go nowhere.
Yeah, it's a steel box. It's not gonna.
Yes.
I was in a restaurant once where, and I've told this story before, so I'll keep it short. But they didn't clean anything for like years, and literally, I like turned around, and when I looked back at the stove, the entire kitchen was on fire. Like all the grease, like even the Ansel system, all the pipes were on fire.
Yeah, we were talking about, and if anybody wants to watch the full story, check out Thursday night show, Random Thoughts of the Rev. Check back last night. Shout out. Unky. Let's talk, there's a lot of bad with firefighting, obviously there's a lot of sad, but let's talk about good, positive vibes. It's the weekend kickoff party. We're heading into the weekend. We're all gonna have a fantastic weekend. Yes, Johnsy.
Real quick before too crazy, it's not like bad or negative, but what's the craziest you respond to a call and it was the most craziest way a fire started, like the craziest story, like no effing way?
Gosh, like I went to nothing really as crazy started that way.
A dildo short charge.
Yeah, like some crazy.
Yeah, like a dildo caught on fire on the charging portal.
Oh man, I've heard stories, read reports. I honestly just can't think of them. No, it's just a lot of times I have more of a stupidest reasons that we have arsonists that started fires because they want to go home. They go on and tell their boss, like, hey, I don't feel good. I want to go home. And the boss goes, no, I'm not going to let you go home. Go finish your job. And they've gone and started fires. just to get off of work.
Just quit the job, bro.
Hey, Thursday struggle's a real thing.
Man, it's ridiculous. To me, it's almost entertaining. Yeah, it really is kind of entertaining when we find out that it was an arsonist job and the reason why they did it.
Because they wanted to go to Mickey D's for lunch.
well, now you're going to be locked up and you won't be able to go home for a good while. And it's just
Since you do a lot of EMS calls, what's the weirdest EMS call that you've gotten?
Yeah, that was where I was going.
Okay, now, like I say, we're with department, but I've had worked for more places than where I am now. So it's an old story that it was not a light bulb, it was a CO2 canister lodged in a certain man, and he got it stuck up pretty far. And the medic on duty tried to help him remove it, and it didn't work. And we had to take him to the hospital. It was there's a lot more details, but I can't go through it. But
I don't know. Last night we told a similar story.
Yeah. I've heard people doing like glass light bulbs. That's risky. But this guy was just a CO2 canister, and he lost it. Got carried away.
I know of a prominent auto dealer where he was married. He had a hanky-panky with another male, which is totally fine. But it was adultery is not. Basically the wifey poo found out about it, didn't tell him. The lover, she found out through the photos that her husband liked being restrained, for lack of better terminology. And homeboy was a freak, man. And so basically she tied him down, and he was like all into it, like, oh, what do we got going on here? Like, I love this. Like, and but then she showed him the photos, and this is the owner of a very massive auto dealer, one of the sons. She turned on her hair straightener.
Let's go.
Shoved it up his ass, tied to his thing, and let the house go, and let a neighbor call 911 when he was screaming for fucking bloody.
Wow. No, nothing that crazy. No,
Do I win?
crazy.
Do I win?
You just read.
Hey, Rev, remember that memoirs I was talking to you about?
Yeah,
This is my
buddy.
life,
That needs
bro.
to
I did this
happen,
for
dude.
12 years. I mean, hey, I was telling Rev earlier, I was like, I could do memoirs on the auto business. I've seen some shit.
Hey, bro. People thought the Rain of Bobbit was bad.
Hey, that lady, she was like, listen, if that's the life you want, that's fine, but you shouldn't have lied and cheated on me. This is the repercussion that you get.
I was really hoping that story was going to take
And
a
she got
different
paid
turn.
out. She got paid out.
I was really hoping like she's going to switch out the lube for like crazy glue or something, because that would have been better.
I only from what story I heard was there was no lube involved, bro. It was she likes it raw. She likes it raw.
Bro, I'll take the straightening iron with the super glue, bro. There's dissolvents for that. There's no coming back from one plugged in where you are restrained, homie.
Why do you think there's a warning label on it that says for external use only?
You know what else they have a warning label on? Don't put on your dentures, because I was in a dentist office for a routine cleaning when a lady across the way from me was getting super glued dentures surgically extracted from her mouth. And while the dentist was cleaning with his assistant was laughing their asses off, and they had to explain to me, broke every HIPAA violation possible and told me, like, listen, you're going to hear some stuff next door, so we're just going to go and tell you so you know why we're laughing. We're not laughing at you. And then, like, I hear the lady, like, just explaining why she made that decision. It was good stuff. Unky, dumbest show you've ever been on, true or false?
Say it again?
Dumbest show you've ever been on, true or false?
This the dumbest show? No, it's not.
What? We tried hard.
Man, that's offensive, man. We try to be dumb. That's dumb. I mean, whoever think Unky slapped us in the face right there, raise your hand.
I mean, a little.
Yep, all of us. Yep.
I mean, I don't have finger marks, but I feel the sting.
Yeah, I mean, basically,
that's just a bunch of dudes hanging out. I like it.
He just called us a bunch of basic bitches. That's what he can
speak for yourself.
Hey, no, Dak started.
Nothing basic in my house.
Dak started that shit when I realized I was a basic ass husband.
yeah. Zach Lauer. Yeah. That's perfect. Hey, Unky, I know you got some seasonings over there, man. I would not have you on this show to not plug your products. We've been seeing them. I know there's one on there that I'm really, really excited to talk to you about. But go ahead and show us, everybody. I'm putting the big screen here. Let's talk about.
All right, I'll give you the quick rundown. I was like, I've only been in business for.
Don't rush yourself. Yeah. You're giving us your time, man. You've earned the time. Take your time.
Your red carpet.
I earned my time.
Full-time.
I've only been in business for about 2 years, coming up on 3, really. 2 years. And 8 years ago, where it all started was my love for seasonings. Comes back from my family. My grandmother teach me how to cook. She's a farming family down in North Carolina. But 8 years ago, my wife Elizabeth asked me to make a smoky Bloody Mary rim salt. We're going on a family vacation down the Outer Banks. So I was like, sure, honey. So I made a concoction. She liked it. I brought it in a giant, I think maybe a 2-gallon Ziploc bag. And we went down there. Everybody loved it. Everybody kept asking me, like, what salt is this? Who makes this? What was? I made it. What do you call it? I was like, I don't know. It's Elizabeth salt.
Nice.
So, and we took it a couple months later. Me and my wife went camping, and I left all my seasonings at home. But I did make sure I packed the Bloody Mary rim salt. Got to have your Bloody Marys in the morning.
Got to have your rim jobs.
Yes. Helps your day get going for the Bloody Mary. So I put on some food, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. So we lowered the salt, and we made a couple bottles, started giving it to family and friends for Christmas. We used to host a lot of people, a lot of family and friends over, so we did big cooks with it. Everybody liked it. So that's what this one is. Try to get it right. I'll get it there. There we go. This is Elizabeth salt. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Anyways, it's the yellow one.
Have to read it. Elizabeth. It's the yellow bottle is Elizabeth.
Yes, Elizabeth salt.
Hey, most network way to start a seasoning company by drinks first. Let's go.
Yeah, that's why we had him on subconsciously.
I
No
love
good party starts with a salad. That's a fact.
Bingo.
That's true. So then 4 years later, my mom asked me to make a garlic and herb. So that's our green and yellow one. More of a Green Bay Packers colors scheme. So we made a salt-free garlic and herb, and we did the same thing. Made it and gave it away for family and friends. I mean, this is like the original bottle right here.
Nice.
Keep it.
This
is a glass bottle.
Look at us getting a sneak peek.
The family crest, and it just says Elizabeth salt on it. That's it.
What does your family crest mean?
It's 6 pigeons or doves, and the bars goes across. Somewhere down the line, somebody got knighted.
I don't know. What does that mean? Shoot first, pass later?
I don't know. So we just gave it bottles, bottled up to family and friends. Everybody loved it. And finally, a little over 2 years ago, I was coming up on Christmas time. Everybody's calling me up. Hey, I need a refill for this. I was like, you're getting it for Christmas this year. I'll make sure to put a little extra in, and we smoked cheese and stuff. It just kind of like made our own little gourmet basket for fun.
Nice.
And then they started asking me to start making some extra bottles for their families. They wanted to give away my seasonings to them, and they wanted to pay for me. So started talking to my wife about it. The pandemic this is the end of 2020, so we're already almost a year into the pandemic. I broke my foot at the firehouse horseplay, and
disability. That's all I heard.
So I had a lot of spare time. So my wife, she's like, "Yeah, why don't you put it together and look into it?" So I said, "Okay." So I started talking to my cousin, which used to be a firefighter. Also, he owns Utter Chaos Farms here in South Lake, Virginia. So he sells grass-fed Angus beef and some pigs and sausage and stuff. And he's like, "Hey, you need to come out with some more flavors before you come out to the market." So as I was still researching the company and stuff like that, I mean, I talked to Dan Oliver. Y'all seen him everywhere on TikTok.
Shout out Dan O's.
Yeah, he's number one on Amazon, last I heard.
That's unfortunate because his original sucks. You heard it here first on the Dude Network. Continue.
Everybody has their own flavor profile.
The spicy's delicious. The original, not. But go ahead.
Okay. So we got into it, and we started a program called it Firehouse Tested, Firehouse Approved. All right.
Ooh.
That's where I kind of start picking up the pace.
Certified.
So, I live right off the Chesapeake Bay. I've always loved Old Bay. So I love seafood. Old Bay, Cajun.
That's very coast.
Creole.
That's very Maryland, Virginia coast of you, Unky. But go ahead.
Well, they're just up the river from us. So I took the classic Cajun recipe, swapped out a few ingredients, and I smoked a few of them. So it's got a nice smooth finish. This is my version of Cajun. I call it the Coastal Cajun. Yeah, I see what you played on that. Now I caught it now. Very coastal. I'm slow tonight. But yes, so we did a Coastal Cajun, and it's smoky. Some people kind of say it's a little like a sweet hint to it, but it's not. It's very good. It's only as hot as Texas Pete. It gets you at the back end. It's absolutely one of my favorites. Brian Kelly that was on here earlier, if he's still on here, he loves it. Excuse me.
How's the salt profile? Because that's the biggest thing with Cajun and like Old Bay and Tony Creole, all that. They're great, but the salt, if you just that one shake over the line, it's game over.
No, I don't think so with the Coastal Cajun. Over the years, I've gotten more salt sensitive. Now the Elizabeth salt does have I would say probably the most salt content.
It's a salt one, yeah.
Yeah. It was just kind of, I wanted to change the name, but the wife said no. So I kept the name. But it's yeah. So the Coastal Cajun I don't think it's that salty. It does have a salt to it. It's one of the popular ones when I go out to the markets, the farmers market here locally. Garlic and herb is actually my number one seller.
Okay.
Everybody, yeah, a lot of people like
That's
that.
very East Coast. So like anything like in Ohio, like garlic, lemon pepper, like your Italian, your garlic pepper, like that's a staple. So yeah, it makes sense over on the eastern side that the garlic herb would be a very prominent seller. Yeah, for anybody watching on the west side of things, like yeah, garlic and herbs is like Midwest, East, Northeast. Like throw garlic and like herbs and together and some pepper and salt, and like you got East Coast figured out. Like
you'd start a fight saying that. We have a whole festival over here, the Gilroy Garlic Festival, bud.
Well, California's garlic sucks because it's not happy like its cows. I said.
Oh, but I'm gonna send you some, and I'll see what you say. How about that?
Just spit it. Terrible.
I'm sorry. Is that Tony Nombre? Rev, who is that?
Welcome to the
Listen.
the eternal
We haven't had
battle
Nombre. Yeah, we haven't had Nombre in 2 weeks. Somebody's got to fill the shoes. Unky, man, that's a nice lineup, man. That's really exciting.
Yeah, I also got a Chipotle one.
My bad. I mean, John interrupted you like the rude prick.
No, man.
Jeez,
It's
John
black and yellow. It used to be called beef rub because the guys at the firehouse outvoted me. They want to do a beef, pork, and chicken line. That's part of the firehouse test approved. It goes from my house to my firehouse. Then it goes out to several firehouses throughout the United States: Arizona, Nebraska, Detroit, Jersey, couple stations in North Carolina. Here locally, my brother's station, a couple of ones in my department.
All I'm hearing is the brotherhood.
In Hawaii, forgot my boy Reed, Federal Hawaii. They go out there.
Really far West Coast, guys. You know.
Yep.
John's don't pounds California, bro. Stop trying. Don't bundle. Don't bundle regions of the country into California. Don't do it. Continue.
I'm sorry. They try it out and they tell me like more salt, less salt, this, that, and another thing. And then I bring it back, and if it's a drastic change to it, I'll send it back out to everybody again to try it. If it's not a drastic change, I'll just kind of do it locally or a few people test it. Then I'll bring it to market. And that's what I did with the Coastal Cajun and the Chipotle. And we're looking next year to have 4 new flavors come out. And we kind of nickname them. And they're all after different people that I work with. Not in the fire department, but in general.
I think it needs to be a white trash Mike blend, and that name alone would sell. Just saying.
We got I call it the Master Firefighter. That's mine. That's a savory garlic. And there is a buttery rosemary that is called Fire Marshal. That's from East Coast Kelly's, one of my ambassadors and one of my good friends.
Shout out Brian.
Yeah. That's his flavor profile. That's what he kind of came up with. He asked me to go in that direction. Then the veteran rookie is Fireman Freddy's. He's the veteran rookie. That's like a maple rub. It's kind of like the Maple Smokehouse.
Oh, maple! I'm in on maple, man. I've been pounding for a maple rub for a long time.
And then there's the Hawaiian
you got rosemary
barbecue.
In with that? You gonna do some rosemary in with that maple?
No, it doesn't have rosemary in this one.
You should.
We got it with the buttery rosemary, which is fantastic.
Just joking.
We did a butter here at the house.
I was like, it's good.
Buy both, Tony. Buy both.
Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, so, and the last one we got is we call it the retired firefighter, which is Hawaiian barbecue. And that's after my buddy Reed. He just retired.
You go to Hawaii.
Yeah, you hit somewhere on the beach, do a barbecue. And it's in Hawaiian colors, red and yellow. And it's my boy Reed. He was my mentor when I was in the union. When I was a union officer, he was my mentor. And he's just a fabulous guy. Fun fact, his brother is the coach for the USA Olympic speed skating team. Yes.
Can we get him on the show? We want him on the show.
I don't know. I can get Reed. I don't know about his brother. I don't know his
Tell
brother.
Reed to get his brother on here.
So his brother's been
he's not getting his seasoning. No,
he's been the coach for years and it's taken him to multiple gold medals. His brother has.
Nice.
So yeah. But yeah, there's the new 4 flavors. So we send them out to the fire stations. Yeah.
Brian gave the Marshal 3 fire flames and he gave the retired 4 fire flames. which means Brian is partial to the retired compared to the
Instead of his
Marshall.
own. Yeah, it's to his own flavor. But wait.
He hit you with the instead of like a 1 to 5 on the stars, he hit you 1 to 5 in the fire emojis.
But the thing is, we're firefighters. We're brutally honest with each other, and we'll make you cry. But we're there to help you. That's why I do the firehouse testing. They'll tell you to your face, "This sucks," or this. Yeah, they'll tell you how.
Has that happened yet?
Yes. Oh, yeah. They made me cry. They made me cry once, but it's okay.
Tears are just weakness leaving the body. You're good.
You have an avenue of like straight up what the testing of a huge what am I trying to say, guys? Flavor profile group you can pull from.
Oh yes, that's what I like about.
I need
guys up north, guys in the southwest, guys in the southeast. Yeah. Good. Finally, Tony's gone. Okay.
Yeah, now we go.
To get rid of him. No.
I'm sorry I was late and it took me so long to get rid of him. Rev, I apologize, buddy.
Bro, you're killing me. Hey, we will be more than willing to sample anything you want to send, brother.
Okay. No, not a problem. I'll get with Tony. I'll get something out to you guys. What other questions y'all got for me? You be about the job?
Okay. So I got a good buddy of mine that I've known for years, and he was captain of a fire station here in Arizona. And, I've been at a firehouse, and I know guys back east and up here. Why do you all have that mustache? Like, it's like universal across the board. Anywhere in the country, you're going to find that mustache in a fire station.
Handlebar. Down. It's kind of called now the trucky mustache because a lot of the guys in the trucks, ladder trucks have them. But
forever fireman.
But it honestly, it all goes back to he's back. Oh, hey Tom.
I know. My bad. I'm sorry. It was either that or pissed down my leg.
That's all right. Do it. So it goes back in America. Fire department's all about tradition. Sometimes people stick to traditions when we should be moving on past things. Yeah. So it goes back to way before we have respirators or SCBAs, subcutaneous breathing apparatus. So they would grow long mustaches, kind of wet them down, hold them to the nose. Same with the beards.
Oh, as like a natural respirator,
trying to some kind of filter,
some barrier.
So yeah, firefighters always kind of mustaches back in those like the early, was it Streets of New York or whatever?
Yeah, some people say mine catches fecal matter. That's not fair. It saves lives.
It could do that. So there's like that, and there's one. There is so many stuff I can't remember. It was like buffalo coats. It had to do with some of the guys wearing buffalo coats. I can't remember. It's all traditional name. I'll get back with you on that one.
Do you get them issued once you get out of the academy, bro?
The mustaches?
Yeah. Would he give you your helmet, your boots, and your mustache? Is that how that works?
These are earned. These are earned, brother. Yeah.
Have you ever seen anybody's mustache getting shaved off in the firehouse for not earning them?
No.
Ooh, like
we never really paid nobody down.
Can we make that happen and make content out of it?
Like hey, you messed up so bad, shave that shit.
Like when you lose rank in the military, they have like a ceremony.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You didn't with a straight razor in our bunkhouse meal tonight. No mustache.
We have had jokes. Some people so bad. That's how you correct bad behavior in the fire department. We joke you and harass you until that behavior is corrected. And if you can't grow a proper mustache, you're hazed, and we make sure we'll find your goat, we'll get it, and we're not going to let it go of it until you shave it.
Sorry, John Z. Maybe you can be a firefighter in the next life.
What? No, John Z has the stash. The rest of
no.
Right
Don't
now.
bail him out. Don't bail him out. No,
hey, whatever. Okay. Generate power for people, okay? So
I ripped the gray out of my beard tonight and gave it to Alyssa as a gift. I was like, I got you something.
Oh, dude, I got.
I was like, since you like that dad life, you like us older men a little bit. I was like, here you go. Here's a gray hair.
Bro, if I did that, I wouldn't have a beard.
Right.
Yeah. I'm 36. I'm just now getting into that. Like, I'm finding some grays, and I'm like,
I don't even want to hear it, dude.
Hey, the whole side of my head is just salt and pepper, bro, for like the last 10 years. So
the whole beard sides, yeah.
But hey, boys, I got ribeyes on. They're just chilling. I got to start reverse searing them for the fam.
Don't burn the house down, John.
Yeah, John. No. Jesus Christ, you little pyro! Stop burning shit. Hey, me and Rev, we have Ask the Wives. Me and Rev have Ask the Wives.
I didn't do it. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. You said you weren't going to make it, so you weren't invited, but in a non-disrespectful way.
Let's do this, and let's do this, and then I'll get off.
All right, Unky. So we got our wives involved, and this is called Ask the Wives. They pick our topics. We have no idea what they're going to pick.
Okay.
They sacrifice a lot of times with us, so anything is possible. Rev, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
It's up to you, brother. I'm going to preface this that
I tell you what.
I'm going to preface
this.
Are
you already reading it?
No, not yet. But here's the thing. So this is grad weekend for the local university, and my wife is a fucking bartender.
Okay.
So
she's showing her boobs for tips. I get
so
it.
She wrote this after an insane shift at work.
Oh.
So it may be very interesting.
I'm going to save that one for last.
Okay.
Because I don't have a faith in Alyssa living up to that After the Oompa Loompa dick comment last week, I feel like Alyssa's not going to make.
Oh, it's pretty awesome, bro. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Unky's like, what the fuck?
Like, where did this go?
Oh, God. She buried me.
Yes.
Do all dudes leave their beard trimmings behind in the sink? If not, please explain to Tony where they go.
Dirty. That's where I leave them. I'll double down on that. Not only do I do that, but when I shave up the mohawk like once a year, I tend to leave that shit in the sink too.
You know what? Yeah, here's where they go. Whenever you put them in the trash, that's where they go, honey. That's where they go. Do your chores. It's a firehouse in this house. You're the maiden. Clean my shit. Next question. Rev. She's clearly not here in the house.
Remember, this is on the internet forever now, Tony.
Yeah, I don't think she watches the show, luckily. So. That's why I called her a dirty bitch. I'm safe. I love my wife, and if she heard me call her a dirty bitch, she'd be like, "Fuck you, asshole," and I'd be like, "All right, that's fair." So go ahead. It's a hate thing.
This might take a minute.
Jesus Christ! Did you tell her we weren't applying for the Rhodes Scholarship with these questions? Unky's like, man, what did I do? Man, what did I do? So basically, Alyssa learned, don't ask guys where beard clippings go because you're going to get the answer that you're already living. So,
hey, so maybe I'm just weirdly civilized a little bit, even though I'm the pyromaniac that everybody wants me to stop cooking.
But you're the one that labeled yourself as a pyromaniac. Don't come and ask for making fun of you for being a pyromaniac when you come on the show to proclaim how much of a pyromaniac you are. But continue.
I was just sharing the other side of the fireman experience. He shared the experience.
I appreciate your dedication.
When you need firemen in your life to intervene. I shave mine right over a trash can. We have this little white trash can. I just
That's too much. That's too much work.
I mean, I tried, and the thing is, like, I've just been like clipping with the scissors, like the stragglers that go tink 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 tink, little tink tinks. They're like choo 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 choo.
I have like, that homeless chic look, so unless my boss yells at me to trim it, I don't care.
Tony, you're in like if you're talking like legit beard care and you wanted to stay healthy. The only thing you should be taking is hair trimming scissors and trimming off the scragglies.
I don't even do that.
That's all that was, and that's what she's referring to. I'm literally cutting off the stragglers, but whatever. Now I know that the wife is triggered over my hair trimming tactics, and now I'm triggered for the rest of the show.
I'm gonna come over your house and shave my beard in like every bathroom you have.
I hope you shave it on our
Good
fucking dining
Lord.
room floor and let the wife pick it up. That's what I hope right now, Rev.
Wow.
I said what I
Hello.
said. And I want to sprinkle some Elizabeth salt over top of it because I'm salty. And I want it to be the best salt in all the land. Segue. Rev, read your note.
Yeah, read your essay real quick.
Yeah, like, do we have enough time? Do we need to extend this out by another 20 minutes or what?
Like, do I
maybe.
need to come out before this or?
So you got to realize we both also work in the restaurant industry during.
Stop explaining. Just
No,
read.
gotta do it.
Stop
Sure.
trying to defuse the bomb before it explodes. Just let it explode, bro.
All right. So what is with the elf on the shelf shenanigans? 'Tis the season of assholes, and everything nice is frowned upon. What's with making a stocking look like a nutsack? I mean, they have you by the short and curlies by now. How much stuff is required for this season?
Hey, did she write that or was that Hunter S. Thompson?
No, this was definitely the wife. I'm gonna save these and we're gonna make a book out of them, bro.
I mean, so she wants to know why
Are people assholes to us this time of year? Like, it's supposed to be the time of giving and like loving your neighbor and holiday cheer, and people treat us like fucking slaves during.
I mean, I know the answer. It's just not.
Because it all
Unky. In the fire calls, are you dealing with some assholes with people that have lost everything? Are they blaming you for not being quick enough, for saving all the gifts? Is that a thing that happens? Like, this is actually Rev, I love the wife because this is a great question.
Right?
Oh, we've gotten people that come after us on scenes. When I first started off in the fire department, I was very young. I was 19 years old, learning everything when I was a volunteer. And we've actually had, at the time I wasn't an EMT. I was just a rare volunteer firefighter. So I just kind of assisted the paid guys that were trained. Whatever they called for, I gave it to them. And a father, their kid was having a medical emergency, and the fire department wasn't quick enough. So the father continued to start punching the back of my partner, my buddy, and he ended up getting charged with a felony because he was keeping a firefighter from doing his job. So I think it was later dropped. I never went to the courts, but I heard that the rumors was nothing ever came of it.
Because the firefighter is probably like, listen,
I'm a better man
than him. He was upset. I'm willing to forgive it.
Yeah. You have people like that. We've had, we've had some real jerks and stuff like that. And the real fun ones, in a sense, I hate to say it's fun, is the drug users. They always come with some kind of story. It's always something. Interesting.
Bring one. I'm not asking for top. Bring a recent story to mind in this situation. I think we all need it.
I'll give you a little dated one. I was back in my volunteer days. I was going. I also worked in the admin for that fire department, and I was going around making rounds. I went to one station, and it's the fire station attached to like a library, which is attached to a police station. So it's a little strip. Fire station, library, and police station. Right across the street was a bus stop. I'm about to walk out the door. The officer pushes me back and closes the bay door. I was like, what are you doing? I got to go. I got to go do this, that. He goes, no, you're not. As soon as it shuts, he shows me. See that guy over there? He watched a guy shoot up 8 o'clock in the morning, shoot up, and fall over. And according to the protocols and the rules, that police have to clear the scene first. The police have to come on scene. These people in this part of the town, it was rough. They just shoot up on a bus stop, eyesight of the police department, and
let's go
fall out. And they have to lock down the station every single time. They have to have police come over there because you will have crazy people. They'll go after that person that just I wouldn't say overdose, but enjoying their high. People go over there and start robbing them. And then if you get in the way of it, they don't care who you are because they don't have a dollar to their name. They're going to get that dollar from that person.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, if you mess with me and I go to jail, I get 3 squares.
Yeah. And it's just the wildest stuff that I've seen, man. It's been so much, a lot of it's created a lot of traumatic stress over me in my life and stuff, some of the really dark parts of it. But I just I do my best. I just laugh about it. It's amazing how people act.
I'm not going to lie. This is the college years coming in. I forget what the original question where we diverted it to him for that awesome answer. Johnsie's about to sear some steaks, and he's probably overcooked them at this point. Johnsie, you got to go, right?
What?
You got to go?
I was just filling the flames real quick. Talking to a fireman. But yeah, I do got to go, guys. I'm sorry.
No, you're good,
worries, bro.
We love you, Johnsie.
Hey. Appreciate you letting guys hop on for a little bit, even though I'm not all professional.
Neither are
we. Love, man. You look good. Backwards hat's a good look on you, man.
Well, with the bill over the light, it's all like,
Dude, you always got to wear it backwards.
Yeah. Forever and ever.
All
right. Dudettes, Johnsie. We love Johnsie.
I'll tell you a story from the other side of that, Unky. So,
okay.
All right.
I'm in recovery. February, I'll have 12 years clean, right? I've been that junkie on that bus stop, dude. And one time, I was pretty inebriated from varying things, we'll say. And I was lipping off to this dude in a bar, and he stabbed me 14 times with a fillet knife.
Okay.
And obviously, they called the cops, and EMS fire showed up. And I'm laying on the barroom floor with a fillet knife sticking out of my chest. And the cops, he's right. They got to clear the scene. They have to, detain the suspect and all of that. And I'm still laying there, I had a punctured lung, sucking air through my chest and shit. And they were questioning me in this state. And I distinctly remember one cop says, "What happened?" And I went, "I cut myself shaving."
Nice.
Yeah.
It's it gets just wild, man, how people act and everything.
Oh yeah,
man. I'm glad. Congratulations on your sobriety, man. That's awesome. I'm 3 years sober with alcohol. Nice. I never did drugs. Well, I did pot in high school, but besides that,
yeah. Hey man, shout out to the pot. I get it. Hey, I love. I feel bad drinking right now, but hey,
don't worry about it.
No, I know I don't. I really don't, because I know. Yeah, trust me. I've learned that you don't adjust your lifestyle for others because it makes them feel worse. So just let them enjoy their decisions and their great life decisions and carry on with your life. That's what I've learned. But no, and Rev knows that because Rev and I have been buddies for about 2 years, and if I haven't offended him yet, I'm not going to now.
Did y'all? I don't know if y'all saw that. I think it was Miami. The firefighter that assaulted a guy who was high on cocaine. They took him to the hospital.
Yep.
And he was the guy on the stretcher. There's video footage of it. The guy's on a stretcher. Turns out, and the firefighter is a little bit far away from him and spit on him. And he's a big brother. He comes over there and just starts wailing on the patient. And the cop's taking his time walking around the stretcher to get to the cop. And his friends are trying to get him off the guy. And he's just wailing on this dude. I mean, people they're getting high on drugs, man. They're a different person. They're not themselves. I get that. I understand it because when I used to drink heavy, I wasn't myself. I was just a totally different person. So my heart goes out to them. Yeah, my heart goes out to them. But for instance, your story, you might have said something, did something to provoke that guy with the steak knife.
Right.
Oh, I can guarantee it. I know what kind of an asshole I was.
I remember the question that was, and it's why are people assholes to people this time of year from your life? Yeah. And as a server, it's she's probably getting the people that have spent the whole day shopping and spending money on people that aren't themselves. that are like beyond tapped, but yet they're like significant others are like maxing out credit card or just blind to the financial situation of the household, and they got to take their shit out on somebody. And unfortunately, your wife is that person.
And here's the biggest kicker for us, though, is like you'll go out shopping. And like I said, this is graduation weekend. So you got tons of families in town taking everyone out to dinner. But here they strategically plan it. So they will complain and bitch and moan about everything. So then they don't have to pay for their bills.
I've been told it's out in that Southwest. That's like a thing.
It is, dude. It totally is.
And that's a shame.
It is, dude.
So, like, I mean, could you imagine being a manager and having to be trained, a general manager being trained on what's bullshit and what's not, what you can comp and what you can't comp?
The corporate restaurants literally say that we will comp all their food and give them free gift cards for next time. That way they don't lose the customers.
Yeah, they're all about customer retention because there's so many big
ridiculous
box stores that, they don't regionally. It's got to be a bloodbath down in your area.
Dude, and here's the thing. Like today, they comped something like $20,000 worth of fucking food.
Wow. At that I mean, hopefully, like, not at that restaurant alone, right?
No, that was just the first shift. That was day shift at that one restaurant, dude.
That ain't shit, though. $20,000, it really ain't much.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you comp all those meals, none of the front of the house is getting any tips.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, okay, so take 20,000 times 18%. So that's like $36,000 in tip money that wasn't distributed across the country on those tips.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the person's going to look at, well, what's the percentage of $0?
Exactly.
If anybody that's watching doesn't know what a waiter or waitress makes, it's less than $3 an hour. They literally make enough to cover their sales tax on what they claim on their tips. If you do it right in the restaurant industry, you get a check that says, hey, we covered your sales tax on your tips.
Yep.
This is not a real check. This just goes to show you how much of taxes we paid for you this check.
The standard wage for front of the house employees who are not hourly, who are tipped employees, is $3 less than federal minimum wage.
And then you got to love with the host
$4 an hour paycheck.
They get a tip out, which means they get tipped out from the work of what the servers do. So the restaurant's paying their front house with tips that their servers make. That's how the restaurant industry really works.
if I get good service, like you're amazed, that kind of service, I will do the regular tip on the debit card, and I keep cash, and because I know everybody pulls from the debit card, I'll slide in the cash and say,
that's next
that
level.
Away, that's yours.
Yeah.
I know you have to share the rest of it with everybody else, but this is yours. Please put that away.
And you know what's funny?
We appreciate that.
Yeah, and there was like when I was waiting tables when I started out at Myrtle Beach, like at Broadway at the beach, and we didn't do a tip share out. We had to do it was like $10 to the hostess, $10 to the bartender every night. It was like something like that. But it was like, you would have people slip $20 bills in your pocket and say, "This is for you." And I never understood what that meant because I never worked in a tip sharing establishment. But that's when you're dealing with like next level patrons, like Unky up here. And that's why people should buy Unky's seasoning, because he is a man of the fucking people.
Absolutely.
But I do hate when restaurants, because I always got my little tip, my calculator out, and I do my tip, and I do hate it when the restaurants, they put the tip percentage down, which is okay, it's fine, but they put the wrong numbers down.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to figure out, there's the subtotal and the final total, and I even done it without just the tax on it. I tried it different ways. Those numbers never match up.
Never right.
They're like $4 more.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I hate that. It's like, because it's not the waiter, it's the whoever programmed it, whatever boss did it. Like you're trying to take advantage of me. I don't like that.
Uh-huh.
And now
then you're letting your frontline employee that gets peanuts on the dollar eat your fucking bullets. Yeah.
I mean, like I'll still tip my percentage. I'm going to tip that I calculated out. I'm not going to do what the receipt tells me. But there's going to be somebody who's going to be a jerk about that. Or I don't want that waitress to think I'm a jerk because according to receipt, I was supposed to pay $18, but the number is supposed to be $10.
Yeah.
So it looks like I'm giving you a 8% tip when actually I'm giving you 18. It's just with I hate when the restaurants do that.
And it really sucked because, like, as a server in that opposite side, if you had a table that you knew was going to tip you well, they would make you put that automatic tip on it. Of like back when I was doing, it was like 15%.
Yeah, it's called auto.
And I would be like, can we lift that off this table because I feel like I'm going to get 20%. Like, these people are saying how good I'm doing. They're spending money on like next level items, or no one's buying a cheap meal. This is not a budget. And they're like, nope, 15%. And you're like, all right, great. And then you have people like, you literally have people like leave in the notes, would have tipped you more, but your restaurant included it.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, I'll just go.
What's really brutal now, a lot of restaurants, all the chain restaurants do it. So at the end of the night, it used to be the front of the house, the servers would get their tips, right? They get cashed out at the end of the night. They don't do that anymore. Now they all get issued a pay card when they get hired, and then they calculate all the tips throughout the week, and it's like getting a paycheck. So they don't have money like they used to. So if you don't tip servers in cash, they don't get that money for at least another week, sometimes two, depending on the company.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. Restaurant business. Hey, I've worked before I got to my job, and people like sit there and be like, man, your job sucks. Like, I have the best job in the world. I was in restaurant, and then I was in car sales for 10 years. So I got into that where I'm no longer in direct retail. I'm living on easy street,
which makes Tony the king of the bullshit artists.
Dude, I'm the worst. I am so bad. My poor wife, man.
I met you, bro.
I wish that we could like record me like swaying Alyssa's opinion over on things.
That needs to be a show unto itself, bro.
I mean, I tell her that we need to capture it, and she knows. Like, I'll go up and like smack her. She's like, "Excuse me," like, "Oh, sorry, I was reaching for the trash can." I'm like, my bad. Like, your ass has gotten away. Like,
yeah, sure.
That's Alyssa's life. Like, yeah, sure. Like, Alyssa deals with that 10 times a day, at least. She's a beaten mule at this point. Unky, we're gonna wrap the show up here. Actually, you have been awesome. We love you. We love your presence on social media.
Absolutely.
You're always making killer recipes. We really didn't get into it that much tonight, but we will next time. You're going to be back on at some point.
Sure.
I promise.
Absolutely.
I let it him like, you don't have an option. Like, you're coming back on again, and when that time comes, we'll dive into some recipes. As technology progresses, maybe we'll do more live cooks. I know in the coastal Virginia region, you cook a certain kind of food that we don't really talk a lot about on this show. So I would like to have you back on for some coastal Virginia, Maryland.
Okay.
Just like, talk about your coastal Cajun. The coastal Cajun, I will say, piques my interest. You might be seeing an order here soon on that from Ohio. If you do, that's from moi. But Unky, thank you so much for hanging out here with us tonight. We appreciate you. We appreciate all firefighters. We appreciate all first responders. We are nothing without you and our armed forces. We appreciate
It's my pleasure.
I know it is, man. That's why we thank you for it. It's a personal choice to do what you do. We appreciate that you make that choice. Rev, final thoughts here before we wrap this up and send us all out of here.
It was a pleasure having you on the show, brother.
Thank you.
It was a great time. I think people need to give you guys way more credit than they do. Firefighters tend to be, when you're not 12 years old anymore, the firehouse kind of is off in the peripheral, Everyone knows it's there, but you know what? You gotta have a little bit more credit.
I feel like there's people that have needed firefighters, love them, and treat them better than cops. But those that don't, that have never had to work with a firefighter, will never understand the value of what a firefighter brings. Exactly. That night, I sat there and watched them chucking personal belongings out the window just so we could have family photos. Like, That's what firefighters do. They're more than just putting on a cape and going in and like scooping up kids in like stranded windows and bringing them down the ladder. Like they're saving your fucking livelihood and your family history while they're in your house too. And
they're there to make your day better.
Yes, they are there to make the day better. They're not there to arrest you. They're not there to chastise you. They're not there to give you a warrant. They're there to make your day better.
But I give the credits to the cops because they do clear the scene for us. They're the ones that go in there in a bad situation and they do their things. But give them a little credit.
All right, so
I'm one of those guys. I do
give the one that sits there and says, where the firefighters come in and ride off the coattails of the cops who are the beaters and the lovers and the haters. The firefighters are all heroes. Thanks to the cops for eating the bullet on the public relations front. But no, in all seriousness, Unky, we love you. We love all first responders here on the Dude Network. We appreciate all the time and effort you've put into your community, the time you spent away from your family. And we wish you the best with your seasoning. It's awesome that you have it's Firehouse approved, which I feel it sounds like after this is the most honest approval a person could possibly get.
Yeah. What else do you need?
Dudettes, Rev, Unky, we appreciate you all. Until we see you all next Thursday on Random Thoughts with the Rev and next Friday. And just so you know, everybody on next Friday and every Friday until January 6th, we have back-to-back guests all for tonight and the next two shows. We have 2 guests. We're going to start multiplying guests. We're going to get more interest on here. We're going to make this more of a production for a couple hours to get into your Friday and into your weekend. But until then, we see you all, and we're going to keep this thing growing. We're going to keep growing ourselves. Like, share, comment, tell a friend, be a friend. Please help us out and help us get one more follower tonight because of you. We would greatly appreciate that. And good luck in the bowl season for all those that entered. And we are working on a massive March Madness giveaway bracket challenge thingamajig. Stay tuned with that and everything else that we do in 2023. You guys are all beautiful. We love you all. See you next time.